Chapter 267. The disciple of the Mu clan, Mu Rong, escaped from the valley and returned to the Stupa sect. Half a day later, the news of Lin Xian killing Star Peak Pavilion and Mui spread, shocking everyone on Levitating Island. The Mu clan was the most infuriated. The strongest expert of Star Peak Pavilion had been killed, and the rest had no hope of defeating Lin Xian. However, the experts of the Mu clan were still there, and Mu Qin had entered the Stupa sect. On this day, the news came from the Stupa sect. The Mu clan was going all out to hunt down Lin Xian, and they were calling for other forces to join them. In a short time, a group of people had gathered. However, these people did not act recklessly. They knew that Lin Xian was very strong and could even kill a half-step harmonious spirit expert. They would not be able to do anything if they acted recklessly. If Lin Xian wants the rest of the treasures, he will definitely return to the Stupa sect. We only need to set up an inescapable net here and wait for him to exhaust himself. These people began to set up a formation near the Stupa sect. 10,000 li away, Lin Xian sat cross-legged on a huge rock and began to organize the storage rings in his hand. Meng Yan and the rest were the elite disciples of big sects, and they were very rich. The most important things were their life-saving treasures. Meng Yan's high-grade profound rank treasure was even better than the Autumn Scar sword. Unfortunately, Lin Xian did not use a spear, but it could be sold for a good price. There was also a piece of broken dark red armor. It was extremely hard and could even block the undying sword intent. So it must be extraordinary. He wore the broken armor close to his body to protect his vitals. Other than that, there was also Feng Qiming's star stone and Mui's painting of mountains and rivers. Lin Xian had refined all of these things and engraved his soul imprint on them. Until now, Lin Xian's wealth had increased, and he now had the capital to fight against the top experts. The disciple of the Mu clan had escaped. It seems like the news of me killing these people has spread. These people did not come after me, so they must be preparing in secret. Lin Xian kept thinking, if I want to take back the treasures that belong to me, I will definitely go to the Stupa sect, and these people might be waiting for me there. He knew very well that as long as he showed himself, what awaited him would be a fierce battle. Looks like I still need to increase my strength. Lin Xian thought of the sword intent treasure box. He took out the red flame great sword and activated the third rune on it, forming a sealing array. Holding the sword intent treasure box, Lin Xian took a deep breath and slowly opened it. A heart-shaking aura gushed out. Lin Xian closed his eyes and carefully sensed it. Danger and opportunity coexisted. Lin Xian risked his life to comprehend the sword intent. Finally, he gained something again and improved his sword intent to 40%. It's time to move. With a flash, Lin Xian left the place. The Stupa gate, which was almost 1,000 meters tall, exuded an aura of vicissitudes. Damn it, why isn't that brat here yet? Why are you in such a hurry? Wait a little longer. No, I'll wait one more day. If he doesn't show up, I'll join the pagoda sect. Some martial artists were obviously getting impatient. However, just as they were getting impatient, a figure quickly approached from afar. A white monkey. Is that Lin brat here? He's wearing a black robe. I can't see him clearly, but that's definitely the monkey. Someone whispered. Everyone, be careful. Get ready to attack. Woochie woochie. The snow-white monkey sat on the black-robed man, its black gem-like eyes constantly moving. The person in the black robe wasn't Lin Xian, but Qing knew. From afar, Lord Alcohol could feel that the array set up by those people wasn't ordinary. That's a formation called the inescapable net. It's very powerful. If a Spirit Sea realm martial artist uses it, it can easily kill a harmonious spirit expert. Lin Xian's face was gloomy. If it wasn't for Lord Alcohol, he might really break the array. If that happened, what awaited him would be death. For safety reasons, Lin Xian asked Qing Nu to disguise as him and let the snow-white monkey follow him. He's coming. Everyone, be alert. The people hiding in the dark were excited. As long as Lin Xian entered, they would make sure that he wouldn't be able to return alive. Swoosh! The snow-white little monkey disappeared in a flash, and Qing Nu entered the array. Completely. Activate! Boom! Dozens of figures flashed and activated the array. Qing Nu let out a terrifying cry. The snow-white monkey returned to Lin Xian's side and quickly entered the storage ring. Lin Xian sneered. He put on a purple robe and quickly ran toward the stupa sect. The battle ahead was intense, so no one paid attention to the others. Just like that, Lin Xian swaggered into the stupa gate in front of everyone. The dark red land exuded a desolate aura, as if it had been like this for 10,000 years. Swoosh! Swoosh! Suddenly, ripples appeared in the sky above the land. The space constantly distorted, forming a small whirlpool. Swoosh! A figure landed, kicking up a cloud of dust. So empty, so desolate. This figure was none other than Lin Xian. He looked around and sighed. He didn't expect there to be another world behind the stupa sect. This method was indeed shocking. Swoosh! Swoosh! A few more figures entered and landed on the ground in a sorry state. Lin Xian tightened his purple robe and hid his entire body. He didn't want to expose himself yet. Indeed, those people only looked at Lin Xian in surprise before leaving in a hurry. Xiao Xuanzi, see if you can sense anything with the stone token? Lord Alcohol asked. Lin Xian nodded. He held the stone token and carefully sensed it. Indeed, he sensed a summoning aura. Over here, with a tap of his foot, he flew out. It had to be said that this land was too desolate. Apart from some weeds, there was almost nothing alive. Ka, ka. The pile of white bones on the ground suddenly trembled violently, forming white skeletons one after another. Swoosh! Swoosh! White bone claws suddenly descended, tearing apart the void. Lin Xian quickly dodged, a look of horror on his face. These should be cultivators who died in the past. They are at least at the 7th layer of the Spirit Sea realm. Coupled with the environment here, these undead creatures are even more terrifying. Lord Alcohol explained. Lin Xian understood and punched out. Boom! The violent force instantly scattered the 3 white skeletons. However, their bones didn't shatter. They just fell apart. Lin Xian was also surprised by this situation. He didn't expect these white bones to be so hard. However, now wasn't the time to study these things. Lin Xian used the Dragon Rebel Step and quickly flashed past. Swoosh! A huge bone claw that was more than 10 meters long shot out from the ground and grabbed at Lin Xian. The air trembled as if it was being torn apart, emitting a sharp sound like the screams of ghosts. The momentum was terrifying. Scram! Lin Xian used his fingers like a sword and slashed behind him. A cold light flashed. The huge sword Qi was like a silver river that hung upside down in the 9 heavens, emitting a terrifying aura. Boom! The huge white bone claw was fearless as it slapped down at the sharp sword intent. Clang! Clang! A string of sparks appeared in the air as the white bone claw trembled. A low roar came from the ground. Chapter 268. Rumble. The ground trembled and split apart. A skeleton creature that was dozens of meters tall crawled out from the ground and roared at the sky, its sound waves shaking the heavens. Ripples of air swept out in all directions, blowing away all the weeds and gravel on the ground. Buffed! Buffed! The surrounding ground cracked open as dozens of humanoid skeletons appeared. Their movements were extremely stiff. Ka-ka-ka! The moment these skeletons appeared, the entire space creaked as the sound waves swept over with a terrifying aura. Countless ravines appeared on the ground, as though it had been cut by a sharp weapon. It was hideous and terrifying. Hum. The sound waves were like a tidal wave as the air trembled as they charged towards Lin Xian. Copper lightning pattern. Berserk lion roar. Lin Xian's body suffused complicated lightning patterns as he roared out the berserk lion roar to resist the skeleton's sound waves. The formless sound waves were as sharp as swords and sabers, overturning the surrounding ground. When the two collided, a loud boom erupted in the air. The overflowing sound waves struck Lin Xian's body like swords and sabers, producing countless sparks. Thankfully, the copper lightning body was extremely tough and resisted the sound waves. However, the skeletons on the other side weren't so lucky. The overflowing sound waves sliced them into countless pieces as their bones splattered all over the ground. Roar! The gigantic skeleton creature wielded a gigantic bone saber as it roared angrily. Boom! With a slash, the air in front of him was sucked dry as the intense saber aura surged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian transformed into a sword beam as he ran into the distance. The further he ran, the darker the aura became. Lin Xian felt uncomfortable all over as he cautiously looked around and raised his guard. There were stone monuments erected around him with ancient words written on them. Could this be a cemetery? Lin Xian pursed his lips. You guessed right. Be careful. There's a big guy below. Don't wake it up, Lord Alcohol said in a deep voice. Big guy. Lin Xian was taken aback as he secretly circulated his spirit energy. Roar! The gigantic bone saber slashed over from behind as though it wanted to split everything apart. F******K. Will this commotion wake it up? Lin Xian was unsure. He swept his sword and blocked the descending bone saber. Boom! The two enormous forces collided like two small mountains crashing together. The bone blade bounced off. The skeletal creature seemed to have sensed the difference in this place and kept growling in a low voice. A dark and terrifying aura came from underground, causing people's hearts to tremble. Those stone steels glowed with a faint red light, and zombie-like figures came out from them. The flesh of these people had rotted away, but they hadn't completely disappeared. Their bodies glowed red as they quickly rushed towards Lin Xian. Wung! The skeletal creature's body shook, and a red glimmer appeared in its eye sockets, flickering like a candle. Oh no, he's being controlled. Let's rush out. Lord Alcohol reminded. Lin Xian identified a direction, and his body flashed out like a rainbow. Hoo. The rotting corpses were clearly much stronger than the skeletons from before. Their bodies slammed straight into Lin Xian. Before the person arrived, Lin Xian smelled a rotten stench and immediately felt dizzy. Sword intent surged and quickly destroyed the gas. Lin Xian's body glowed as he dodged to the side. What a terrifying aura. It can actually interfere with my mind. These should be the sect disciples from back in the day. Be careful. Lord Alcohol's voice had a tinge of solemnity. People from back in the day. Lin Xian was stunned. Didn't they die more than 10,000 years ago? Lin Xian cautiously looked at the rotting zombies and subconsciously wiped his cold sweat. Fighting people from 10,000 years ago was 2F*** king exciting. Don't fight them head on. There's a stone steel behind you. Go there, Lord Alcohol quickly said. Lin Xian tapped his foot and darted backward. Phew! He came in front of a stone steel and focused his attention on it. Indeed, the rotting zombies lingered in front of him, not daring to advance. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief and looked at the stone steel beside him. The stone steel suffused a blue glow and was very eye-catching amid the red glow. Before Lin Xian could finish heaving a sigh of relief, an old figure appeared beside the blue stone steel. It was an old man who couldn't be any older. His skin was dry and covered in wrinkles. However, his eyes were abnormally deep, as though he could see through the void. Lin Xian's hair stood on end as he felt his heart palpitate. It was as though a single look from the elder could destroy him. It's actually the remnant consciousness of a supremacy. Lord Alcohol's tone was abnormally solemn. Don't act rashly. This isn't something you can deal with. Lin Xian fell silent as he quietly looked at the illusory figure, motionless like a statue. Can we discuss the Tao? A deep voice sounded. Why not? Please. Lord Alcohol spoke through Lin Xian. The two mystical figures began a Tao discussion through Lin Xian. After a long while, the illusory figure let out a sigh. Having heard the Tao in the morning, one can die in the evening without regrets. The elder's figure gradually faded before disappearing from the world. The blue stone steel beside him transformed into a blue beam of light that enveloped Lin Xian as they left the graveyard. Supremacy? What realm is that? Lin Xian asked curiously when he arrived at a safe place. Above the three spirit realms is the supremacy realm, Lord Alcohol said slowly. Lin Xian shook his head. These were too distant for him. Let's go. His body flashed as he ran into the distance. Buzz, buzz. The void ahead trembled as a terrifying aura surged over. Its saber intent. Could it be Lung Yidao? Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he planned on taking a look. Back when he was besieged, Lung Yidao, Snow Fairy, and company had saved him, making him feel grateful. Lin Xian used the dragon counterstep and transformed into a beam of light. Damn it, Black Wind Sect. Die obediently. I said that I wouldn't let you leave alive. Ha ha. Kid, stop. Otherwise, this little beauty's life will be in danger. A group of mocking voices echoed in front of him. Damn it. Put down Senior Sister Snow. I'll fight you to the death. An angry voice sounded. Who do you think you are? Are you worthy of fighting us? I'll give you a chance. Break your arms and kneel down to beg us. Otherwise, we'll enjoy this little beauty on the spot. Kill them with one strike. Don't worry about me. Rip. The sound of cloth being torn sounded, followed by a series of exclamations. Lin Xian appeared. He saw the ferocious-looking Lung Yidao and Snow Fairy, whose skirt had been torn. Brother Lung, don't panic. Lin Xian appeared beside Lung Yidao. Kid, it's actually you. You didn't die? The warriors in front exclaimed. There were dozens of figures there. Two of them were holding chains made of spiritual power, binding the Frost Fairy. Her skirt was torn apart, revealing her seductive long legs. Kid, hand over the Buddha token and break your arms. Otherwise, we'll put on a good show. The Black Wind Sect's disciples looked at the bound Snow Fairy wretchedly with greed in their eyes. I'll give you a chance. Let her go. Lin Xian's voice was as cold as 10,000-year-old ice. Chapter 269. Brat, it seems like you still don't know the situation here. Fine, I'll open your eyes. After saying that cultivator laughed wildly and approached Icy Fairy. How dare you? Yidao Lung's eyes turned red. His body emitted a sharp saber intent, pressing forward like a heavenly saber. Humph! In the opposite group, a young man wearing a half-mask sneered. A cold black whirlwind gushed out from his body, resisting the saber intent in the sky. The black wind whistled like a sharp saber, colliding with the saber intent, causing the void to tremble. Don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you comprehended the saber intent. You're nothing in front of us. The disciples of Black Wind Sect laughed wildly. They did have the right to be arrogant. As the top existences in a 3-star sect, their strength was much stronger than Star Peak Pavilion. Among them, the masked young man had the strength of a half-step harmonious spirit expert. Other than that, the chi of the others was unusually strong, far stronger than the disciples of other sections. In front of our Black Wind Sect, even if you're a dragon, you'll have to crouch. Moreover, you're just 2 worms. I don't want to kill anyone. Don't provoke me. Lin Xian's voice was as cold as a blade. Kill? Ha ha! Don't think that you can be so arrogant in front of us just because you killed a few trash disciples. You're not qualified. These disciples of Black Wind sect had been chasing after Yi Dao Lung and Icy Fairy. They didn't know that Lin Xian had killed 4 experts in a row. You're courting death. Don't blame me. Lin Xian sighed. Blame your grandpa. What are you pretending for? Before the disciples of Black Wind sect could finish their words, they felt a shocking sword, intent, attacking their souls. This qi, how is this possible? In a daze, they felt like they were facing Ling Fengzi. Quickly, use that woman to threaten him. A disciple shouted. 2 cultivators tried to grab Icy Fairy. One of them even placed a long saber on her neck. However, before they could do anything, a white light flashed past. Asterisk puff, asterisk 2 heads flew up. Blood spurted out like a fountain. The cultivators beside Icy Fairy fell down powerlessly. What? The nearby Black Wind sect disciples were all dumbfounded. They didn't even see the white light clearly. Only the masked young man snorted coldly and reached out to grab at the void. Whoosh! The sword light flashed and forced the masked youth to retreat. Lin Xian's body glowed like a god of death. He appeared in front of the masked youth and punched out with his left fist. The fist wind contained a terrifying amount of energy. The air exploded, and lightning surged toward the masked young man. On the side, Yi Dao Lung let out a long roar and slashed out several times. The saber radiance swept out and sent all the warriors who were rushing towards Ice Fairy flying. Crack! Breaking the chains on Ice Fairy's body, Lung Yidao quickly retreated with Ice Fairy. 3 lowly insects, you've offended the Black Wind sect. Only death awaits you. The masked young man roared madly. Leave this person to me. You guys take care of the others. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Black Wind strangle, said the young man with the mask while smiling evilly. A black wind emerged from his hand and collided with Lin Feng's lightning fist. Boom! The 2 collided, and a dazzling light burst out in the air. The masked youth trembled and took a few steps back. Crack! A foot-deep footprint appeared on the ground, and countless cracks spread around it. What a terrifying strength! The masked youth's expression changed slightly. He couldn't suppress Lin Xian. The rest of the warriors' eyes popped out when they saw this scene. That was a half-step martial artist, but he was forced back by Lin Xian with one punch. Go away and die. The masked youth was furious. A black wind blew from his body, and the sound of metal vibrating could be heard in the air. Moonbreak! A sword light, like a hazy half-moon, flew out from the tip of the sword and slashed at the masked youth like lightning. Black wind kick! The masked youth moved and jumped into the air. His legs danced and a strong wind blew around him. A mountain-like leg shadow accompanied by a black wind rushed toward Lin Xian. The moonbreak sword chi flashed and cut the black wind in half. Impossible! The masked youth was frightened again. Lin Xian could easily break through his defense, and he felt that things were out of his control. Wind Slayer! While he was still in shock, another sword light flashed past his face like a fleeting shadow. Why did I see my back? The masked youth was stunned at first, and then he felt incomparable pain. Poof! A head flew far away and landed on the ground. Lin Xian's sword was too fast. It was so fast that the masked youth didn't feel any pain when his head flew up. Clang! Clang! Seeing the masked youth die, the other Onyx Wind sect warriors were stunned. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Devil! Lunatic! After a few screams, the remaining warriors fled in all directions. Tempest sword ripple. The long sword slashed out, and fine sword waves spread out in all directions like water ripples. Poof! Poof! One by one, The figures were slashed into a bloody mist, and no one escaped. Lung Yidao and Ice Fairy were stunned. Lin Xian's current performance was completely different from a few days ago. A few days ago, Lin Xian could barely resist a half-step, harmonious spirit expert, but now he could kill them as if he was slaughtering chickens and dogs. "Are you guys all right?" Lin Xian put away his long sword and asked. Ice Fairy was very grateful. "Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for saving us. Brother Lin, you have to be careful of the Revenge of Onyx Wind sect." Lung Yidao reminded, "It's fine. Even if I don't kill them, Onyx Wind sect will still cause me trouble." Lin Xian didn't care too much. With the improvement of his sword intent, he was no longer the young man who could be bullied by others. Now, even if he was surrounded, he could still retreat calmly. The three of them set out together, heading deeper into the forest. Half a day later, a magnificent building complex appeared in front of them. Each building was like an ancient ferocious beast, emitting a cold metallic aura and a chilling aura. Rows of palaces, plazas, and pavilions were arranged in picturesque disorder, just like a giant city. Worthy of being an ancient sect, they actually used metal to build their buildings. Lin Xian exclaimed. Their current palaces were all built with stone, which was very different from this place. Walking on the path paved with black gold, the three of them curiously observed their surroundings. "I wonder if the people of Onyx, Wind Sect, and Mu Clan are here?" Lin Xian was puzzled. He knew that the two of them had the Buddha token. "Forget it. Let's find my own treasure first." Lin Xian sensed the Buddha token, and he unexpectedly felt the aura of the concept of wind. Could it be related to Wind Emperor's sword? Lin Xian was puzzled as he looked into the distance. There was a tall bronze tower, emitting a faint golden light. It was about 100 meters tall. Lin Xian felt that the qi of wind in his body became restless, as if it was very excited. "What's wrong?" Lung Yidao and Ice Fairy looked at Lin Xian. "I found something that seems to be related to me," Lin Xian said in a deep voice, and went over to take a look. The three figures flickered and dashed toward the brass tower. Chapter 270. The brass tower was so eye-catching that it naturally attracted not only Lin Xian and the other two, but also many disciples from other factions. Lin Xian's appearance undoubtedly caused an uproar. Many martial artists were like birds that were startled by the twang of a bow as they hurriedly avoided him. The others also looked at him in awe. The news of Lin Xian killing the four experts had spread among all the factions. Most of the martial artists had labeled him as the #1 ruthless person. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he was not to be trifled with. Lung Yidao and Snow Fairy were shocked once again. They followed beside Lin Xian and sighed as they watched the crowd disperse to both sides. In front of them, the thick brass door opened and revealed a gap. On the stone door, there were various carvings that seemed to be describing something. However, those carvings had become very dim. Time is the most merciless. It can obliterate all powerful things. Lin Xian sighed and walked in. The three of them paused for a moment before walking through the brass door. After a long time, the others quickly followed. It was dim inside, but it wasn't a problem for Lin Xian and the other two. Lin Xian's brows gradually furrowed as he quickly walked up the spiral staircase. This aura, could someone have been here? He couldn't help but increase his speed. After about a dozen flights of stairs, Lin Xian and the other two finally arrived at a large hall. A majestic statue stood in front of them. It was like a peerless expert that looked disdainfully in all directions. This stone statue is very similar to the stone statue in the Trial of Blood and Fire. Lin Xian was surprised and excited. It was the stone statue in the Trial of Blood and Fire that imparted the Wind Emperor's sword to him. Lung Yidao and Snow Fairy also looked at the stone statue in surprise. They felt a pressure that came from their souls. It's just a stone statue, but I can't breathe. What is this place? Lung Yidao's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He carefully searched the surroundings and even used the Buddha token to try to communicate. However, nothing unusual happened. There are footprints on the ground. Someone has been here. Lin Xian's pupils contracted as he found some clues. Let's go up and take a look. Brother Lin, I want to comprehend it here, said Lung Yidao. All right. Lin Xian didn't insist. He quickly went up alone. Finally, when he reached the 10th floor, he discovered the auras of other people. Above was a spacious hall that was at least 100 meters wide. There were many martial artists standing inside, their auras surging like the tide. It's actually the Black Wind sect. Lin Xian's eyes revealed a look of vigilance when he saw the attire of those people. However, he did not discover Ling Fengzi's figure. Presumably, he should have gone somewhere else. Lin Xian hadn't seen the other party before, but judging from their aura and attitude, they weren't afraid of the Black Wind sect. The two sides were facing each other, surrounding a stone statue. In the hall, the atmosphere was abnormally heavy, so heavy that it was hard to breathe. Looks like there must be something good. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. I really want to know what their expressions would be if their things were stolen. Lord Alcohol chuckled. Looks like you already have an idea. I'm looking forward to your performance. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. His body was like a leopard as he quietly flew out. Throughout the entire process, there wasn't a trace of movement. His aura was also completely concealed. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he looked ahead. There were many stone statues there. One of them was the size of an ordinary person and had a cloak draped over its body. They should be fighting for that cloak, Lord Alcohol said slowly. Cloak. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed as he looked at the surrounding stone statues. The black cloak was as thick as ink. There were dark red patterns on it, flowing with a peculiar aura. This should be a support-type artifact. It's at least a peak profound rank artifact, Lord Alcohol transmitted. Peak profound rank artifact. Lin Xian's heart trembled violently. Perhaps even a true harmonious spirit expert would be tempted. No wonder the atmosphere was so tense. I can't let the Black Wind sect get this artifact, Lin Xian thought. He had a grudge with the Black Wind sect. In the future, there would be a fierce battle, and this artifact would play a decisive role. With this artifact, even if he met Ling Fengzi, he would have a higher chance of winning. Speaking of which, this artifact should be a wind attribute artifact. It should be helpful for you to comprehend the Wind Emperor's sword, Lord Alcohol said slowly. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Then he couldn't give it to the Black Wind sect. Moreover, he noticed that the wind aura in his body was restless, as if it was very excited. After adjusting his state of mind, Lin Xian waited patiently. He planned to make a move at the crucial moment. In the front hall, the people of the Black Wind sect were confronting the people of the other side. Their expressions were very unfriendly. Bai Ling, if you want to start a war with our Black Wind sect, you better think about the consequences. A cultivator with a scar on his face said. His name was Du Fei, a half-step harmonious spirit expert. Since Ling Fengzi wasn't here, he was one of the leaders. What's wrong with the Black Wind sect? Is it that great? The beautiful girl smiled sweetly. Others might be afraid of you, but we aren't. Moreover, the things here are ownerless. Of course, only those with strength are worthy of having them. Those with strength are worthy of having them. Du Fei snorted coldly. We have already broken the seal, and now you want to interfere. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Haven't your Black Wind sect done this kind of thing before? Bai Ling covered her mouth and laughed. I'm just learning from you. Of course, when it comes to shamelessness, I'm far inferior to you. This cloak is a wind attribute artifact. It's compatible with our black wind sex cultivation technique. Miss by, why don't you be more magnanimous and help others? Another cultivator called Ning Shan said, bullshit. Only your black wind sect has the wind attribute. This old lady has also recently cultivated a wind attribute martial art. Why don't you let me have it? Bai Ling raised her eyebrows. Why are you wasting your breath on her? Just take her down. Du Fei's face was gloomy, revealing his killing intent. Stop them. I'll go get the treasure. With Du Fei's order, the dozens of cultivators behind him pulled out their swords and sabers. The aura on their bodies surged like a tsunami, slashing towards the people of Yuhua sect. You're courting death, Bai Ling shouted. Her body turned into a white light and rushed towards Du Fei. The cultivators behind her welcomed the Black Wind sect's disciples. Rumble. The spiritual energy in the air surged, and an explosion occurred instantly. Fortunately, the brass hull was very sturdy, and there was no damage. Dozens of people were fighting together, and the battle was abnormally intense. However, Lin Xian did not pay too much attention to it. His gaze was on Du Fei, and Bai Ling Fengzi isn't here. And you guys dare to be so presumptuous? Bai Ling shouted. The white satin on her body flew out and turned into a terrifying silver waterfall, like the Milky Way hanging upside down. The air vibrated and turned into ripples, spreading in all directions. Jade flower, thousand ripples hands. Bai Ling stepped on the waterfall and waved her jade-like hands in the air like a butterfly. Terrifying spiritual energy surged. Many jade-like arms appeared in the air and grabbed towards Du Fei. Chapter 271. To be able to reach the fourth level of the Thousand Waves hands, it seems that your talent is not bad. Du Fei laughed evilly. But this is not enough to scare me. Black Wind Divine Kick. A black wind appeared around Du Fei's leg, emitting a terrifying aura. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With a kick, the black wind turned into a boundless leg shadow. With a black tail of light, it pierced towards Bai Ling like a divine spear. Rumble. Thousands of palms waved in the air and collided with the huge black leg shadow. The collision caused a terrifying spiritual energy fluctuation. Crack! The huge leg shadow pressed down like a mountain, but tiny cracks appeared on it like a spider web. So strong. These two people are probably stronger than Meng Yan. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, and he was shocked. Meng Yan could be said to be the representative of the younger generation in Xia country, one of the top martial artists. But in this place, such terrifying martial artists could be seen everywhere. Some were even stronger than Meng Yan. Sure enough, only by going out could one meet stronger martial artists. The two of them were evenly matched, and it would be difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. Lin Xian touched his chin and was ready to make a move at any time. There's someone on the roof. Lin Xian used a soul power and found something strange. In the dark, there was a shadow-like shadow that was quickly approaching the statue. This aura. It should be someone from the Black Wind sect. Lin Xian's heart sank. They were indeed a group of insidious people. However, this statue seemed to have the last seal, and he could help break it. Lin Xian sneered and flew out like a ghost. His eyes flashed, and he used an illusion. This illusion was used on his body, preventing martial artists from discovering him. With a light tap of his feet, Lin Xian took several steps in the air. His body flew out like a rainbow and landed lightly beside the stone statue. His soul power completely hid his aura. Unless it was a third-grade inscription master, no one would be able to discover him. Lin Xian carefully avoided all the spiritual energy attacks and wandered around the statue. That black shadow continued to swim, completely oblivious to Lin Xian, who was beside it. He quietly took out a few small black flags and inserted them around the stone statue. Then he placed dozens of mid-grade spirit stones. A wind magic art was sent in, and the entire space trembled slightly before returning to normal. Under normal circumstances, such a small fluctuation would not have escaped the senses of Bailing and the others. However, the situation was chaotic now, and the spiritual energy fluctuations were unstable, so no one would notice it. Du Fei looked at the stone statue meaningfully, then led Bai Ling away from this place. Obviously, he was aware of the situation. The moment the array was formed, Lin Xian's body tensed up. His right hand was already on the hilt of his sword. He believed that the array formation was meant to deal with him, but thankfully Lord Alcohol was knowledgeable and stopped him in time. This was an illusory formation, and its power was equivalent to the illusory technique cast by a third-grade inscription master. Outsiders couldn't see the true situation inside the illusion array. Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat as he looked around in surprise. In fact, the reason why he could hide without others noticing was because he had used the principle of the illusion array. However, Lin Xian didn't have the strength to cast it over such a large area. Currently, he could only cast it on himself. With the illusion array set up by the Black Shadow, the people outside couldn't see their actions. In other words, the Black Shadow could break the seal without worry. When Bailing saw Du Fei pulling her away from the stone statue, she was puzzled. She looked over and didn't see any abnormalities with the stone statue. Even the black cloak behind him was fluttering slightly. Bailing relaxed and began to fight Du Fei with all her might. However, there was already a terrifying energy fluctuation near the stone statue. The Black Shadow turned into a short and small martial artist who was trying to break the seal with a greedy look on his face. Strange items appeared one after another, dazzling Lin Xian. He could feel that the stone statue seal was weakening bit by bit. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he waited quietly by the side. As long as the seal was broken, he could take action. The short warrior tried his best to break the seal and stopped to think for a while. It seemed that the stone statue's seal was very difficult. However, the smile on his face grew wider and wider. This meant that the seal was broken successfully. After half an incense stick's time, there was a slight sound like a mirror breaking, and then it disappeared immediately. Lin Xian felt that the power of the seal had completely disappeared. The short warrior laughed wildly and kept laughing. His small eyes were full of light, as if he had seen a beauty bathing. Just as he was about to grab the black cloak, a sharp sword light pierced towards the back of his head. At the same time, a strong hand grabbed the black cloak. Whoosh! The short warrior's body darkened and turned into a black shadow. He narrowly dodged the sword. However, when he looked up, the black cloak had disappeared. Who the hell dared to steal my things? The short martial artist angrily roared. His eyes were suffused with a red light, as if they could devour a person. Kihi, good technique. Thank you for this. A faint laughter came from behind. Whoosh! The short warrior suddenly turned around. There was a black light that was as thin as a cow's hair, piercing out as fast as lightning. If it was an ordinary warrior, they would not be able to dodge it. Even a half-step, harmonious spirit warrior might be hit because the attack was too sudden. Moreover, the hidden weapon was small and fast. However, Lin Xian's soul force was outstanding. He had already sensed the short warrior's abnormal movement. That was why he had already moved the moment the hidden weapon flew out. Ding, ding, ding. Sword light flashed and formed a translucent sword screen in front of him, turning the small hidden weapon into powder. It's you, Lin Xian. The short warrior obviously knew Lin Xian. You've ruined Black Wind Sect's business several times. Are you tired of living? The short warrior flew into a rage. When you were chasing me, did you ever think that today would happen? Lin Xian was in a good mood. I just want to ask, How does it feel to have your things stolen? Ah, I'm so angry. I'm going to kill you. The short warrior's body darkened, as if he had turned into gas, and quickly blended into the air. Swoosh. Sword light flashed, forming a terrifying sword wave that surrounded Lin Xian. The short warrior seemed to have hit a metal wall, producing a clanging sound. The black figure also reappeared. Don't waste your energy. Wind Emperor's sword. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. His long sword moved and was about to pierce out. The short warrior did not dare to be careless and quickly turned into gas. However, the sword light that he expected did not appear. Lin Xian's body had already retreated far away. Damn it, how dare you lie to me? The short warrior looked up to the sky and roared. He withdrew the illusion formation, and the terrifying roar spread in all directions. Lin Xian, I'm going to kill you. The surrounding warriors who were still fighting were stunned and turned their heads around. When they saw that the black cloak behind the stone statue had disappeared, their faces became extremely ugly, especially Du Fei. His face was as black as the bottom of a pot, ferocious and terrifying. Chapter 272. The cloak is gone. Both sides were stunned. Bai Ling's expression changed when she saw the short cultivator near the stone statue. Du Fei, how dare you steal the cloak behind our backs? Hand over the cloak. The disciple behind Bai Ling shouted. However, before Du Feng could speak, the short cultivator from afar shouted crazily, It's Lin Xian! Stop him! Lin Xian! Everyone was slightly shocked. They had naturally heard of Lin Xian's deeds. He was a ferocious person. However, Du Fei couldn't care less at this moment. His eyes were fixed on Lin Xian as if they could spit fire. From afar, Bai Ling and the other disciples of Yuhua sect were also looking at Lin Xian cautiously. Brat, we didn't look for you, but you came to us yourself. Hand over the cloak and the Buddha token. Du Fei said coldly, You want the Buddha token? Lin Xian smiled faintly. Are you worthy? As for the cloak. He touched the cloak with dark red patterns and said slowly, I'm already wearing it. How can I take it off? Arrogant. Du Fei's face turned green. His voice was like the cold winter wind, blowing into people's bones. You're the first one who dares to steal from Black Wind sect. I'll let you know that there are some people you can't afford to offend. A black whirlwind emerged from Du Fei's body. It gradually grew bigger and eventually formed a tornado that was more than 10 meters tall. It danced wildly in the hall. The surrounding cultivators retreated and looked forward with fear. This level of battle wasn't something they could interfere with. I didn't expect him to be Lin Xian. Senior Sister Bai, what should we do? A disciple of Yuhua sect asked softly. It said that Lin Xian killed a few half-step harmonious spirit experts. Although those people were severely injured, his strength shouldn't be underestimated. Bai Ling said slowly, We'll wait and see, but we can't let Black Wind sect get the cloak. After receiving Bai Ling's warning, the disciples of Yuhua sect began to gather together and watch the battle silently. On the other side, Du Fei was in the midst of the black gale, his face showing a hint of wildness. Brat, don't think that killing a few half-step, harmonious spirit experts is a big deal. Today, I will let you know the true strength of a half-step, harmonious spirit expert. With a wave of his hand, 4 10-meter-tall black hurricanes rushed towards Lin Xian. Wherever they passed, the ground would emit the sound of metal clashing. Fortunately, it was a very hard brass floor. Under such a violent storm, there were only scratches. If it was an ordinary floor, there would have been terrible cracks. Lin Xian lightly tapped his feet and floated backwards. However, at this moment, a black shadow quickly rushed towards Lin Xian, and a fine black light appeared in the air. Copper thunder pattern. With a low roar, Lin Xian's body was surrounded by lightning. interweaving into a solid defense. The black mist rolled, as if it was locked on. Impossible. Finally, the black wind transformed into the short cultivator's figure again. His face was filled with horror. The sword chi was as dazzling as the sun, but the shocking, murderous intent made people's hearts tremble. Boundless black wind, rotating heaven and earth. The short cultivator's eyes were filled with determination. He kept changing his hand seals, forming a huge black rotating wheel, whistling in the air. Boom! The sword light fell, tearing everything apart. The black rotating wheel collided with it, and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Ka, ka, ka. The black rotating wheel shattered instantly, and the sword chi in the air became even more intense, making people unable to look at it directly. The short cultivator didn't even have time to scream before he was drowned by the sword light. Clang! The sword chi's aftershock hit the bronze wall, causing the whole pavilion to tremble, as if it would collapse at any time. Everything happened in an instant. So when Du Fei resisted the huge mountain above his head, the short cultivator had already been slashed by the sword chi. Gafong! Looking at the short cultivator, who was split in half, Du Fei screamed crazily. The surrounding cultivators were stunned. They knew that Lin Xian was powerful, but they didn't expect him to be this powerful. That was a half-step harmonious spirit expert, but he was killed by a single slash. Gulp, gulp. The disciples of Yu Hua's sect swallowed their saliva crazily, and even Beiling's face turned pale. Du Fei was even more unbearable. After he screamed, a deep fear arose in his heart. In the past, he thought that Lin Xian killed Fang Qiming and the others because they were severely injured. But now, it seemed that it wasn't the case at all. Even if they weren't severely injured, Lin Xian could still kill them easily. The short cultivator, Gafeng, was a good example. I'll give you a chance. Tell me where Ling Fengzi is, and I'll consider not killing you. Lin Xian's mouth curved into a smile. Chapter 273. Du Fei's expression changed again and again. As a half-step, harmonious spirit expert, he couldn't bring himself to beg for mercy. However, Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his expectation. If he insisted, he might be killed. Senior brother Ling Fengzi is very strong. Even 10 Lin Xians wouldn't be his match. On the contrary, Lin Xian might be killed by senior brother Ling Fengzi. Du Fei calmed down as he thought of this. It's on Lingwu Mountain, Du Fei said in a deep voice. It's 3,000 miles east. You'll see it when you get there. Lin Gongzi, Du Fei is right. Bai Ling said, Lingwu Mountain is a sacred place within the pagoda sect. It's also the place where the ancient sect's martial arts are passed down. There are a lot of martial arts there. As long as you can get in touch with Lingwu Mountain, you'll be able to get the martial arts there. Oh, it's so magical? Lin Xian was surprised. I wonder what's the grade of the martial arts? Now that his family was rich, he didn't care about ordinary low-level spirit-ranked martial arts. The martial arts on Lingwu Mountain have different grades. The lowest grade martial arts are low-level spirit rank martial arts. As for the higher grade martial arts, it's said that Earth rank martial arts have appeared before. Earth rank martial arts. Lin Xian's pupils shrunk. He was shocked. That was a legendary martial art. He was afraid that there wasn't a single complete Earth rank martial art in Xia country. Sure enough, it's a good place. He was overjoyed. Bai Ling pondered for a while and continued, but the qualification to communicate with Lingwu Mountain is limited. It'll be a fierce battle when the time comes. Moreover, there are some special items that can strengthen the connection with Lingwu Mountain. For example, the pagoda token. So, Lin Gongzi must be careful. Thank you. Lin Xian smiled. Then he looked at Du Fei and squinted his eyes. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. I've already told you about senior brother Ling Fengzi's itinerary. You won't go back on your words, right? Du Fei panicked. He could feel a killing intent. I said I won't kill you. I won't go back on my words, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. But a person like you will only bring harm to others if you keep your martial arts. It's better for you to be an ordinary person. Whoosh. With a flash of light, Lin Xian quickly rushed towards Du Fei. You dare. Du Fei was so scared that his face turned pale. This was the rhythm of crippling his martial arts. Divine wind art. A ruthless look appeared in Du Fei's eyes. Black wind surrounded his body like a demonic beast. Boom. A shining star stone smashed towards him, instantly tearing apart the black wind around him. The huge impact hit his body, causing him to spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. At this moment, Lin Xian's figure appeared in front of Du Fei. His sword was surged as he slashed out with his finger. Sword light with a sharp aura crushed Du Fei's spiritual sea. Ah! Du Fei screamed as his body fell to the ground. If you dare to cripple me, senior brother Ling Fengzi will not let you off. His blood-curdling screams reverberated throughout the hall. The others were also trembling, not daring to make a sound. This method was too terrifying. One of the two half-step harmonious spirit experts was killed, and the other was injured. It really shocked these people. Don't let me see your Black Wind sect doing evil again, or else I will not let you off next time. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He shook his cloak and ran downstairs. After Lin Xian left, the hall returned to normal. This guy will be a strong opponent for senior brother Zhao Jie in the future. Bai Ling was a little worried. The disciples of Black Wind sect lifted Du Fei up in a panic. The fear on their faces had yet to fade. Let's go. We need to go to Lingwu Mountain. The group quickly left. When Lin Xian passed through the 13th floor, he went to see Lung Yidao and Ice Fairy. Lung Yidao was sitting cross-legged in front of the stone statue, lost in thought. Ice Fairy was guarding beside him. After telling Ice Fairy about the Lingwu Mountain, Lin Xian left behind a few talisman treasures before leaving. He found these talisman treasures from Meng Yan and the other storage rings. They were useless to him, so he might as well give them away. You want to go to Lingwu Mountain? I'm afraid there will be a fierce battle, Lord Alcohol said. And Lin Xian knew, but for the Earth rank martial art, he had to take the risk. Earth rank martial art was a martial art that only existed in legends. It was not available in the entire Xia country. Even the top 3-star sects only had a few fragments of it. Therefore, Lingwu Mountain was a place that everyone yearned for. If I'm not wrong, to obtain an Earth rank martial art, you need at least a Buddha token. There might also be other conditions. Let's not talk about other things. Just the number of Buddha tokens is very limited. You have to prepare for the worst. Lord Alcohol reminded. Indeed, there were not many Buddha tokens. So far, there were only 3 of them. Earth rank martial art was too tempting. At that time, the martial artist with the Buddha token might be attacked by a group of people. When he thought of a group of genius martial artists fighting for the Buddha token, Lin Xian felt a trace of excitement in his heart. With a flick of the cloak behind him, Lin Xian's body turned into a ray of light and rushed out. The cloak had been appraised by Lord Alcohol. It was an incomplete spirit rank treasure. Its grade was even higher than Lin Xian's estimation. With the black cloak, Lin Xian's speed had increased by at least 3 times. Now his speed was probably unmatched. Ordinary half-step, harmonious spirit realm martial artists might not even be able to compare to him. Other than that, the cloak had other uses. When Lin Xian was refining it, he discovered that there were secret techniques such as invisibility, cloning, and blood sacrifice to speed up. However, the cloak was only a half-finished product. Currently, he could only use the blood sacrifice to speed up the process. Earth rank martial art. This might be the key to defeating Lin Feng. Lin Xian's heart burned with passion as he increased his speed once again. Not long after, a majestic mountain appeared in his vision. The mountain had 5 peaks that were connected together like a human palm. On the peak, Lin Xian felt a strange aura. It was like a sleeping lion that contained a power that made one's heart palpitate. This should be the Lingwu Mountain. Lin Xian slowed down and floated forward. On the towering Lingwu Mountain, there was no vegetation. It was covered with strangely shaped stones. From afar, one would discover that these stones formed strange patterns that were mysterious and unfathomable. Feeling the ancient aura coming from the mountain, Lin Xian's heart trembled. This mountain is not simple, Lord Alcohol said in a deep voice. I seem to feel a familiar aura. It's been too long. I can't remember it, but you have to be careful. Lin Xian nodded and walked towards the Lingwu Mountain. At the foot of the mountain, many martial artists had gathered. It was a black mass that formed a terrifying aura. However, compared to the aura coming from the Lingwu Mountain, this aura was like a mayfly trying to shake a tree. It was not worth mentioning. The most conspicuous ones in the crowd were the Black Wind sect and the Mu clan. The two sides occupied the best positions and were on guard against each other. Among them, Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen were surrounded like stars surrounding the moon. That scene made people speechless. Apart from them, there was also a white-clothed figure sitting alone. His surroundings were filled with sword qi. No one dared to approach him. Lin Xian's expression darkened. He could feel that Lin Feng's sword intent had increased and was comparable to his own. It seems like this guy also had a fortuitous encounter. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Although he wasn't confident that he could defeat Lin Feng couldn't do anything to him. Lin Xian's eyes flickered with sword light as he clenched his fists. Back then, you chased me out of the Sword Lake Mansion. I will make you pay for this humiliation at the clan meeting. Lin Xian's expression was firm as a dragon's roar resounded from his body. What he wanted was not to be evenly matched, but to be completely crushed. He wanted to beat down this person who had framed him. There's still half a year. Lin Xian calmed himself down and looked towards the Lingwu Mountain. Only an earth-rank martial art could allow him to advance by leaps and bounds in half a year. Chapter 274. Lin Xian? He actually dares to appear. Countless people cried out in alarm. Then, greedy eyes gathered on his body. In the distance, the disciples of the Mu clan saw Lin Xian, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. Especially Mu Rong, her beautiful eyes seemed like they could spit fire. Her left arm was empty, and her sleeve was fluttering in the wind. Lin Xian, you will pay a painful price. Brother Mu Chen, that little brat, killed Mui and cut off my arm. You must avenge us. Mu Rong gnashed her teeth and said. The young man in the middle opened his eyes. His pupils seemed to contain stars. He looked at the distant figure of Lin Xian and said in a low voice, Don't worry. When the Lingwu Mountain opens, I will take his life. Mu Chen's voice was low and steady. It was as if he was talking about a trivial matter. Mu Rong also calmed down. Although Lin Xian was strong, in front of Mu Chen, he was not strong enough. The Mu clan became silent again. Although the others were excited, no one dared to be the first to attack. Lin Feng stood up. An invisible sword energy surrounded him, and countless sword marks appeared on the ground around him. Just as he was about to attack, a group of people came from the distance. It was the disciples of the Black Wind sect. Brother Ling Feng, this is bad. Someone cried out in alarm. Why are you shouting? Brother Ling Feng is resting. A disciple of the Black Wind sect scolded. Those people were Du Fei and his group. When they saw Lin Xian in the distance, their bodies trembled and their eyes were filled with fear. Senior brother, that Lin Xian stole our treasured weapons and killed senior brother Gofeng. Moreover, Senior brother Du Fei's cultivation has been crippled. A group of people said with sullen faces. What? This news made the nearby cultivators' faces change. They looked at Lin Xian in alarm. Many people secretly rejoiced that they did not attack. Lin Xian even dared to kill the disciples of the Black Wind sect, let alone them. The cultivators beside Ling Feng heard this, and their faces turned ferocious. Bastard, you think the Black Wind sect is easy to bully? I'll go and kill him, someone immediately said coldly. Senior brother, someone shouted. Why don't we let senior brother Ling Fengzi? What do you mean? Do you think I can't beat a martial artist in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier? That disciple's face darkened. No, I definitely don't mean to look down on senior brother, but that brat is a little strange. Senior brother Gofeng was killed by him in one move, and senior brother Du Fei was also defeated in one move. One move. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The originally arrogant martial artist also quieted down. His strength was indeed stronger than Du Fei and Gofeng, but not by much. If Lin Xian could kill Gofeng in one move, then he would be courting death if he went up. Why did you take so long to tell me such important information? Are you trying to get me killed? That martial artist's tone was cold. The others trembled, not daring to speak. Wang. At this moment, Ling Fengzi suddenly opened his eyes, causing the surrounding air to tremble, spreading out like water ripples. All of the Black Wind sect's disciples kept their mouths shut, not even daring to breathe heavily. Senior brother, you have to take revenge for me, Du Fei said with an unwilling expression. Trash, Black Wind sect's face has been completely lost by you. Ling Fengzi opened his eyes, causing a violent wind to blow. Senior brother, I know my mistake. Du Fei knelt down with a plop. I hope senior brother can take revenge for me. I guarantee that our Du family will be your staunch supporters in the future. All right, stand up, Ling Fengzi said in a deep voice. I will give you an explanation for this matter. Du Fei wasn't an ordinary disciple. His grandfather was an elder of the Black Wind sect, and his cultivation had reached the harmonious spirit realm. If the Du family could stand behind Ling Fengzi, then his position in the sect would rise again. With this relationship, Ling Fengzi decided to stand up for him. Just as the Black Wind sect was discussing matters, many people arrived, causing the place to become lively again. At this moment, Lin Feng and Ling Fengzi both looked at Lin Xian, and the others also looked over. In a moment, Lin Xian became the focus of attention again. Facing those unfriendly gazes, Lin Xian looked calm and stood with his hands clasped behind his back. This kid is quite a character. In the distance, a handsome young man was standing beside Bai Ling. He was the eldest disciple of the Yuhua sect, Zhao Jia. Lin Xian, hand over the token, and I will spare your life. Lin Feng said coldly, whether you hand over the token or not, I will kill you. On the other side, Ling Fengzi was ruthless. This attitude again. Lin Xian sneered. Do you really think that you are high above and can decide everything? If you don't reach this level, you will never know how insignificant you are. Ling Fengzi said in a deep voice, Is that so? Lin Xian's lips curved into a smile. Then let me experience your strength. Finished speaking, the great dragon sword intent in his body surged, and a huge sword shadow appeared behind him with a huge dragon circling above it. With the sword in hand, Lin Xian's aura changed. It was like a divine sword unsheathed, giving people a feeling of infinite pressure. What a terrifying sword intent! The surrounding cultivators all retreated, their faces pale. Small success sword intent. That is small success sword intent. No wonder he is so confident. Someone in the crowd exclaimed. Comprehending sword intent was already a 1 in 10,000 genius, not to mention small success sword intent. This kind of person was also 1 in 100 among the geniuses who comprehended sword intent. Buzz. Another burst of sword will rose into the air, clashing with Lin Xian's sword, will of the great dragon. Oh my God! Another small success sword intent. Everyone was shocked to find that Lin Feng, who was wearing white, was like a god of death, unstoppable. Behind him, there was a huge blood-red sword that was like a maple tree, emitting a terrifying qi. On the side, Ling Fengzi's body surged with spiritual energy, like the source of wind, blowing out endless gales. Even his body became illusory. Seeing that the battle was about to start, the Lingwu mountain also changed. Boom, boom, boom. The air shook and the 5 peaks seemed to come alive, emitting dazzling rays of light. The clouds in the sky were dispersed, and the sky seemed to be pierced, forming 5 pillars of light that connected the heavens and the earth. Immediately after, the sound of chanting could be heard from the Lingwu mountain. The entire mountain burst into countless rays of light, enveloping the surrounding 100 miles. At that moment, everyone's heart was empty, and they entered into a very special state. It was as if all the incomprehensible questions about cultivation had been solved. Lin Xian was astonished. He realized that at that moment, his understanding of sword intent had become even more thorough. This is the Lingwu mountain? As expected, it is terrifying. Lin Xian exclaimed. Just one ray of light was enough to make him understand. This method was too astonishing. Swish, swish, swish. At that moment, countless eyes were looking at the Lingwu mountain with endless passion and excitement. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lin Xian, Ling Fengzi, and Mu Chen's bodies were suffused with light. A palm-sized stone token appeared above their heads, constantly floating in the air. Let's go! Now is not the time to lose. Someone was blinded by desire and rushed up. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Dozens of people rushed up and rushed towards Lin Xian. There were also some people who rushed towards Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen. Swoosh. A dazzling sword radiance lit up like a ferocious roaring dragon rushing out. Chapter 275. Lin Feng's dragon sword energy was surging, and everything within a 10 zhang radius was enveloped by the light of the sword. Lin Xian attacked with his sword, and a cold light shone in all directions. The ground cracked, and the air shook. The people who were rushing towards him were all pierced by the sword qi. A bloody mist filled the air. Lin Feng's cold killing intent woke everyone up. Many of the cultivators retreated in fear. They didn't dare think of anything else. At that moment, Ling Fengzi, Mu Chen, and the others were surrounded by corpses. The ground was dyed red with blood. The scene quieted down for a moment. It was terrifyingly quiet. Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen took the stone token and flew towards the huge light pillar. Lin Xian was surprised. He also wanted to move, but Lin Feng smiled coldly and blocked his way. 3 strikes. If I can't defeat you in 3 strikes, I won't steal your talisman. Lin Feng was full of confidence. Lin Feng didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes at all. All right. Lin Xian replied in a deep voice. He was standing in his original position with a cold and detached expression. Even if it was a battle to the death, he wouldn't be afraid. I'll let you know how stupid your idea is. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with battle intent. Bzzz. The air was shaking. Lin Feng quickly unsheathed his black sword and attacked. The maple sword energy behind him was dazzling like maple leaves. Lin Xian's long sword swept horizontally. The broken moon sword qi was flying at full speed. It looked like a half moon was flying towards him. Ding, ding, ding. The sound of metal colliding spread in the air. Sparks were flying in the air. The ground was collapsing, and a terrifying crack appeared in the air. Red maple 13 swords. Lin Feng took a step forwards. His body was surrounded by sword qi, and he attacked with all his strength. That sword was too fast. It was as fast as lightning. People didn't have time to react. Lin Feng's low-level sword energy made that sword even more powerful. It looked like it was going to tear the sky apart. Wind Cutter. Lin Xian raised both of his hands and brandished his sword. A gigantic dragon roared, as if it was going to tear the sky apart. Dang, dang. In the sky, a ferocious azure dragon collided with the maple leaves. The sound of metal colliding filled the air. A huge explosion occurred in the air. The terrifying energy ball was like the light of the sun, sweeping in all directions. The surrounding cultivators retreated in horror, fearing that they would be caught in the crossfire. Some of the slower ones were sent flying by this force. 2 attacks had already passed. Lin Xian and Lin Feng were evenly matched. Lin Feng looked glum. He hadn't thought that Lin Xian's sword energy would grow to such an extent. It was even stronger than his own. Fortunately, his cultivation was strong enough to make up for the gap in sword intent. However, no matter what, he had to take down Lin Xian in this third move. Lin Feng's black hair was fluttering in the wind. He looked like a demon. His body swayed, pressing down on Lin Xian like a mountain. The long sword in his hand firmly locked onto Lin Xian. Sword sealing all directions. The maple leaf sword will pierce through all directions, causing the ground to crack. Countless sword chi flew out from the ground, forming a dense sword screen. Thick sword chi slashed down from the sky. It was as if a huge maple tree was falling down, bringing with it an aura that could crush everything. Lin Xian's heart was heavy. He didn't dare to be careless. He could feel the terror of this sword. This force could definitely seal a half-step, harmonious spirit expert. The surrounding space was completely sealed. The sky and the ground were filled with terrifying sword chi. He had no way to retreat. Flying rainbow. Lin Xian's long sword slanted, drawing an inexplicable trajectory in the air. A rainbow-like sword chi flew out quickly, hitting the maple leaf sword screen, tearing a human-shaped crack. Flying rainbow, the 4th move of the green cloud sword art. Lin Xian finally used it in this critical moment. Swoosh. The sword screen was broken. Lin Xian's cloak shook, turning into a blur, and flew out. The place where he was originally standing was now surrounded by 4 sword screens, destroying everything inside. A 10-meter deep hole appeared on the ground. It was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen. Red maple leaf sword chi was moving around the hole. The warriors in the distance were stunned. They had only seen this kind of technique from their elders. They didn't expect these 2 youngsters to be able to use it. 3 moves have passed. Do you want to continue? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. No need. Lin Feng snorted. Wait until my red maple sword is completed. That will be the day you die. Lin Feng's body flashed, flying towards the Lingwu mountain. Lin Xian looked at the departing figure and slightly shook his head. He wasn't sure if he could kill Lin Feng yet, so he wasn't in a hurry. Who else? He looked around and asked in a deep voice. We want the Buddha token. A cold voice was heard. 5 figures flew out and surrounded Lin Xian. Looking at the 5 majestic voices, the crowd exclaimed, 5 Tiger Blade. I didn't expect them to come. I heard that the 5 brothers of the Sun family once fought against a harmonious spirit warrior together. This Lin Xian is in danger. Lin Xian is dead for sure. Too bad, I can't kill him myself. Du Fei's face was ferocious. Lin Xian looked at the 5 of them with a gloomy expression. This isn't a one-on-one fight. Hand over the Buddha token, and we 5 brothers won't kill you. Otherwise, you can just wait for your death. A muscular man shouted, Big brother, why are you wasting your breath on him? We must get the Buddha token. The other 4 brothers shouted coldly. If you want the Buddha token, then let's see if you have the ability. Lin Xian's voice was cold. Today, he had to make a name for himself. Otherwise, there would be more and more trouble. 5 tiger formation. As the leader of the formation, Sun Da's body shook. He unsheathed the long blade on his back and let out a tiger's roar. Dang, dang, dang. 5 tiger head blades emitted a dazzling light as they danced in the air. Among the 5 brothers of the Sun family, Sunda and Sun Air were the strongest. They were half-step, harmonious spirit warriors. The other 3 brothers were at the peak of the 7th spirit sea realm, with the 5 of them forming a formation. It was enough to show disdain for all the heroes, worthy of being the Lingwu Mountain. It actually attracted such strong experts. Lin Xian was shocked. He could feel the terror of these 5 brothers. He was afraid that even Lin Feng or Ling Feng Zi wouldn't be able to gain an advantage in their hands. However, Lin Xian wasn't afraid. This kind of opponent was just right to intimidate the heroes. 5 tigers slaughter. Sunda shouted loudly and slashed out with his long blade. A huge white spotted tiger suddenly rushed out and pounced at Lin Xian. The 5 brothers of the Sun family emitted a bright light. Mysterious runes flickered under their feet, forming a close connection with each other. 5 fierce tigers slashed at Lin Xian from 5 different directions. That terrifying power directly tore the air apart. The ground trembled, as if there was an earthquake. This kind of attack could easily kill an ordinary half-step, harmonious spirit warrior. Lin Xian flipped his palm, and a yellowish picture scroll appeared above his head. Buzz. The picture scroll emitted a hazy light that shrouded Lin Xian. On the surface of his body, a black mountain rapidly appeared and kept expanding. In the end, it formed the shadow of a huge mountain. Clang, clang, clang. 5 white tigers slashed at the black mountain, producing a violent rumbling sound. A monstrous chi wave swept in all directions with a whistling sound. Slash. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. A silver river appeared in the picture scroll. It was as sharp as a heavenly blade. With a flash of silver light, the 5 white tigers were cut in half at the waist. Mountain River Scroll. The surrounding warriors were shocked, as if they had seen a ghost. Isn't this the treasure of the Mu family? Why is it in the hands of this brat? Many people looked at the disciples of the Mu family with puzzlement in their eyes. The disciples of the Mu family were sullen, and their hearts were going crazy. Mu Rong was so angry that her face turned pale. She gritted her teeth. Bastard! How dare you use the treasure of the Mu family against the enemy? Mu Rong's face was terrifyingly dark. The 5 brothers of the Sun family looked dignified. Of course, they had heard of the prestige of the Mountain River Scroll. However, it was obviously not enough to scare them. Chapter 276. The Mountain River Picture Scroll appeared in the air, and thousands of rays of light fell down, covering Lin Xian. The 5 brothers of the Sun family looked serious as they each waved out a sharp blade light. The blade light that was dozens of meters long tore through the sky, filling the area with killing intent. The surrounding warriors turned pale, as if their bodies were being torn apart by a strange force. Cut! 5 dazzling saber flashes came crashing down, all aimed at Lin Xian. Mountain River Protection. Lin Xian crazily activated the Mountain River Picture Scroll, and the shadow of the Black Mountain became even more real. In addition, there was a silver river surrounding him. Boom! The Black Mountain shook, and the silver river surged, making a rumbling sound. This blade attack made the mountains and rivers lose their color. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. His palms kept changing seals, controlling the Mountain River Picture Scroll. The rays of light shone brightly, and Lin Xian's defense became even thicker. After getting out of danger, he let out a breath. What a horrifying blade formation. No wonder they said they could fight against a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Show me your true strength, or you won't have a chance. Lin Xian said with a deep voice. What an arrogant kid. We showed mercy just now. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame us for being merciless. Sun Air said coldly. Big brother, use the 5 tiger soul shattering. Hearing this, Sun pondered for a while, and then suddenly nodded. All right. Ha! Kid, this is our ultimate move. You better surrender now. Sun Air laughed evilly. 5 tiger body solidification. The spirit power of the 5 brothers of the Sun family surged, and they gradually turned into a ferocious tiger, roaring towards the sky. The horrifying roar shook the 9 heavens, and many weaker warriors were shaken to the point of vomiting blood. Lin Xian's eyes moved. He held the autumn scar sword, and the sword intent in his body was ready to be unleashed. A low dragon roar was heard, fighting against the tiger roar. The air rippled like boiling water, making the air crackle. The dragon roar and tiger roar made the space extremely dangerous. Lightning appeared in the air and struck the ground, creating a bottomless black hole. 5 tigers soul shattering. Sunda shouted, and the 5 brothers of the Sun family all raised their long sabers high, their movements uniform. In the void, 5 white tigers with terrifying auras coiled around the blade, roaring continuously with their bloody mouths wide open. With every roar, the aura of the 5 Sun brothers grew stronger. After the 5th sound, the long saber suddenly fell. Sword light flashed on Lin Xian's body, and 40% of the great dragon sword will soar into the sky. The mountains and rivers around him became even more real. A green light appeared, and a dragon roared. A huge green dragon sword shadow appeared in the mountains and rivers. The huge dragon claw pressed against the black mountain peak. Every dragon scale was as sharp as a sword. Azure dragon breaks the moon. With a slash of the sword light illuminated all directions. The azure dragon and the white tiger collided, and an earth-shattering sound shook the heavens and the earth. The area within 100 meters was completely covered in a greenish-white color. Even Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen in the distance frowned when they saw this. Rumble! A thunderous sound came out from the greenish-white storm. Then 5 figures flew out and fell on the ground. It's the 5 brothers of the Sun family. They were defeated. The people in the distance exclaimed. This result was too unexpected. It was rumored that the 5 brothers of the Sun family had fought against harmonious spirit warriors before. Even if they couldn't win against Lin Xian, they could at least protect themselves. But they didn't expect to be defeated so thoroughly. The sword chi and saber light dissipated. Lin Xian stood with his sword in hand. His aura was extremely powerful. He glanced around, and the warriors lowered their heads, not daring to look at him directly. 1 man and 1 sword suppressed everyone to the point that they couldn't raise their heads. Retracting his gaze, Lin Xian flew towards the Lingu mountain with the Buddha token. Swoosh! A ray of light flashed and rushed towards Lin Xian like a divine spear. Lin Xian was in the air and couldn't borrow any force. He was about to be hit by the divine light. It's Mu Chen. Lin Xian is in danger. The people below exclaimed. Humph, brother Mu Chen is here. Lin Xian is dead for sure. Mu Rong sneered. I'll cut off all your limbs and destroy your cultivation. I'll make you live like a dog in this world. At this critical moment, Lin Xian's black cloak fluttered, creating an impact force. Swoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed and turned into a ray of black light. He quickly rushed to the side and dodged the fierce attack. How is this possible? He can borrow force in the air. Mu Rong's beautiful eyes widened. She was momentarily suffocated. Those below the harmonious spirit realm didn't have the ability to fly. Even if there were some martial techniques that could allow one to stay in the air for a short period of time, it was impossible to change direction like Lin Xian did. Even Mu Chen was pondering. His gaze was fixed on Lin Xian's black cloak. Lin Xian landed on the ground with a face full of fear. If that attack had hit him, he would have been seriously injured. Thinking of this, his eyes flashed with a golden sword light. Mu Chen, Lin Xian shouted, and used the dragon inverse steps to move quickly. Clang, a crisp sound was heard. His long sword was unsheathed with the power of wind and thunder. The sword chi was like a rainbow, forming a light tail that was dozens of meters long. It slashed towards Mu Chen. The surrounding people were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to suddenly attack. Even Mu Chen's face darkened. "You're courting death." Mu Chen was a proud son of the heavens. He didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes. Not only did Lin Xian kill his clansmen, but he also stole the mountain and river scroll. How could he tolerate this? Mu Chen humphed coldly. He shook the fan in his hand and suddenly opened it. His whole body exploded like the sun. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The fan shone brightly like a second sun. The sun and moon fan is indeed powerful. Ling Fengzi whispered, "If you have time to watch the battle, why don't we exchange a few moves?" Lin Feng quickly rushed towards Ling Fengzi. In a flash, 2 balls of light exploded under the Lingwu mountain, forming a terrifying storm. Too crazy. The people in the distance were shocked. Lin Xian and Lin Feng were fighting against Mu Chen and Ling Fengzi respectively. It was a crazy battle. The sun and moon fan was swung with endless heat. The terrifying fan shadow covered the whole area as if a sun was pressing down on them. The surrounding mountains and the ground were pierced by the light and melted quickly. The sun and moon fan was a top Xian level treasure. Its power was even more powerful than the mountain and river scroll. It was definitely a powerful weapon. Even a harmonious spirit expert would be shocked by such an attack. Lin Xian held the mountain and river scroll in his left hand and threw out a black mountain. The air shook as if it was about to collapse. At the same time, he thrust out his long sword. The power of wind and thunder was combined with the black mountain to attack Mu Chen. Rumble! The bright light bombarded the black mountain. The air was boiling like waves. However, the sun and moon fans' level was higher than the mountain and river scroll. When the sun-like light hit the black mountain, it almost melted it. Luckily, there was still the wind and thunder sword chi on the side. The terrifying sword intent resisted the scorching light. Then, the 2 attacks exploded in the air. Swoosh! Mu Chen's attack missed, and he swung the fan again. This time, the fan shadow filled the sky like a cold moon hanging in the sky. Chapter 277. With a wave of the fan, it was like a bright moon in the sky. A cold chill burst out and spread in all directions. The mountain river scroll trembled, and the Milky Way hung in the sky, shining with a silver light, facing the cold moon in the sky. "It's useless," Mu Chen sneered in the distance. "The mountain river scroll originally belonged to my Mu clan, and no one is more familiar with it than me." As soon as he finished speaking, the bright moon in the sky rushed over and hit the weak point of the Milky Way, tearing it apart. "Wind Slayer!" The sword light flashed, and a sharp sword wave rushed over. Lin Xian quickly slashed out with his sword, and then dodged to the side. Sun and moon intersect. Mu Chen's face was cold, and the fan in his hand suddenly fell, shattering the sword chi. The bright moon in the sky quickly enveloped Lin Xian. "Reckless fool! You think you can take the Mu clan's treasure?" Mu Chen formed a seal, and the mountain river scroll on Lin Xian's body suddenly flew out, as if it had lost control. Hua! A light flashed, and the mountain river scroll flew into Mu Chen's hand. The warriors in the distance exclaimed, not daring to believe that Mu Chen had such a method. "Too scary, Mu Chen is indeed one of the top geniuses." That Lin Xian won't be able to handle it. Ah, he actually provoked the Mu clan. That kid is unlucky. Great, Brother Mu Chen can definitely kill that kid. The disciples of the Mu clan cheered, and Mu Rong was also excited. As long as we capture Lin Xian, she has ways to torture him to death. If the Mu clan defeats Lin Xian, then they will have 2 Buddha tokens. Bai Ling of the Yuhua clan frowned. Don't worry, there are 5 Buddha tokens in the Lingwu Mountain, and only 3 have appeared. There are 2 more. Zhao Jie smiled mysteriously. Seeing Zhao Jie's confidence, Bai Ling was relieved, and she looked at the Lingwu Mountain again. At the foot of the mountain, Mu Chen smiled indifferently, as if everything was under his control. Hand over the Buddha token, and I'll cut off one of your arms and then destroy your cultivation. Go kowtow to Mui 3 times, and I'll spare your life. Isn't it just a lousy painting? What's so great about it? I've already learned these methods, so I don't need them. In the distance, the crowd was also in an uproar. Lin Xian actually said that a high-grade profound rank artifact was a lousy painting? Wasn't this tone a little too arrogant? Humph, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Mu Chen's expression gradually turned cold. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Mountain River Scroll. With a shake of his hand, Mu Chen took out the Mountain River painting. Suddenly, a majestic mountain appeared in the sky and pressed down on Lin Xian. With a flash of silver light, the brilliant Milky Way slashed out like a heavenly blade. Humph! The treasures of the Mu clan can only be fully utilized by us, the disciples of the Mu clan. Sigh, dying under the mountain and river scroll is also a kind of irony. The 5 Sun brothers sighed. This is your mountain river scroll? Too powerless. Lin Xian roared. Let me show you what the true power of mountains and rivers is. Seal of mountains and rivers. Lin Xian formed a seal with his left palm. His palm suddenly slammed down, and a green mountain rapidly appeared. Lightning surged on top of it, and its momentum was astonishing. Boom! The 2 mountains collided, causing the entire sky to tremble. The terrifying aura quickly spread out in all directions. The mountains and rivers shattered, and the ground sank. Within 100 meters, the entire ground sank by half a meter, as if it was crushed by an invisible hand. Milky Way slash. Lin Xian swung his long sword, and a silver light rushed out. It was like the Milky Way was upside down, and it collided with the Mountain River Scroll. How is this possible? How can he use the secret technique of the Mountain River Scroll? The disciples of the Mu clan were stunned, and they stared blankly at the sky. The others were also stunned. The 5 Sun brothers were even more shocked, and they couldn't speak for a long time. Mu Chen's face was gloomy. He naturally didn't know that Lin Xian had the Great Dragon Sword Seal, which could evolve all offensive saint techniques. Humph! An illusion! Let's see how many times you can use it. Mu Chen released his spiritual energy, and the painting in the sky flipped, and the Mountain River Scroll attack was launched. Lin Xian held the seal of mountains and rivers in his left hand, and the long sword in his right hand slashed out a Milky Way sword chi, and he fought with Mu Chen. Boom! The entire sky was annihilated. Sun and Moon Fan. Mu Chen was furious. He waved the fan, and the sun and moon intersected. A terrifying energy wave spread in all directions. Sun and Moon Seal. Lin Xian roared again. His left hand glowed like the sun, and the long sword in his right hand slashed out a full moon sword chi. No way. This is also possible. The crowd from afar completely collapsed. The sun and moon collided, and Lin Xian and Mu Chen both retreated dozens of steps. Lin Xian, I have indeed underestimated you. But do you still have any spiritual energy left? Mu Chen sneered. Don't forget, I am a half-step harmonious spirit expert. My spiritual energy is much stronger than yours. Don't worry about me. I don't have much spiritual energy left, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. But I have this. After saying that, he took out a cup of spiritual wine and drank it. It smells so good. I am afraid that this spiritual wine is not of a low grade. Damn it, how can he have such a thing? Mu Chen's face turned black. He clenched his fists so hard that his knuckles cracked. This kind of situation made him feel embarrassed. However, Lin Xian did not want both of them to go down and let others take advantage of them. If you are not convinced, we can fight again. After saying that, Lin Xian flew towards one of the light pillars. On the other side, Lin Feng and Ling Feng Zi were still excited. The terrifying sword Qi and wind were destroying everything around them. When Lin Xian arrived at the light pillar, the Buddha token on his head shone even brighter. Rumbling sounds came from the Lingwu Mountain again. 2 more tokens appeared in the last 2 light pillars. What? There is another Buddha token. Everyone was surprised, including Lin Xian. Swoosh. Lin Feng saw this from afar. His sword flashed, and he quickly rushed towards one of the light pillars. In the crowd, several silhouettes flew out with terrifying qi towards the last light pillar. Of course, there were also people who rushed towards Lin Feng and the others. The 5 mountain peaks shot down their light pillars. This was their last chance. Everybody was going crazy. Many people joined hands to attack Lin Xian and the others. The terrifying qi made the sky lose its color. Luckily, the Lingwu Mountain was extremely hard. Even though it had withstood so many attacks, it was not damaged at all. Lin Xian used the imprint of mountains and rivers and released the sun and moon sword qi. His dragon sword energy was surging like a demon. He waved his sword, and the sword qi was 80 meters long. It was like a river that was unceasingly flowing. Dozens of silhouettes were blown away. Blood splashed across the sky. The chaotic situation lasted for almost an hour. During that time, Lin Xian had used up his qi twice. Luckily, he had some high-quality qi wine and some earth spirit liquid to protect his life. That was the only way he could withstand the attacks. When the light dispersed, hundreds of people groaned in pain. The 5 light pillars were filled with silhouettes. Apart from Lin Xian, Ling Fengzi, and Mu Chen, Lin Feng and Zhao Jie had also obtained Buddha tokens. The 5 strong cultivators were surrounded by the light pillars. Their qi was extremely powerful. Above their heads, the 5 Buddha tokens were rapidly rotating. With a sound, the ancient seal was opened. The Lingwu Mountain rumbled and emitted a chanting sound. It was unceasingly attacking everyone's soul. Lin Xian and the other 4 were covered by the light pillars. They were floating towards the 5 mountains. The other cultivators were standing in the distance. Their eyes were filled with envy. I wonder who will obtain the earth-level martial arts. Sun aside, the 5 of them had joined hands, but in the end, they had still lost. However, they had accepted their loss wholeheartedly. The 5 people above were the 5 strongest cultivators. It will definitely be our Ling Fengzi. The Black Wind, Sect's disciple said proudly. Chapter 278. How is that possible? It must be our brother Mu Chen. The Mu clan's disciple refused to back down. Lin Xian was enveloped by the resplendent pillar of light as his body gradually turned blurry. The scenery around him rapidly passed by, as though time had reversed. When he regained consciousness, there were countless hazy doors around him, waiting for him to make a choice. Each door should be a martial art. You only have one chance. Lord Alcohol reminded him. Which one of them is an earth-tier martial art? Lin Xian looked at the starry doors and was shaken. The number of these flickering portals far exceeded his expectations. Some of the doors were suffused with resplendent light. while others were like fireflies, faintly glowing. Lord Alcohol slowly said, "You can't tell from the surface. Perhaps you can try your fate." Fate? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Such things were impossible to figure out. Who knew if his fate was good or bad? There are more ahead. Why don't I take a look? Lin Xian's mind stirred as he set off ahead. Countless hazy doors passed by him, bringing with them an inexplicable aura that tugged at his heart. Buzz. A door of light resonated with him, spewing out dazzling rays of light. Could this be my fate? Lin Xian was slightly taken aback. His eyes flickered as he used his soul spirit to observe, but he didn't discover anything. Is it really this? For some reason, Lin Xian was unwilling to give up. If you can't decide immediately, why don't you give up? Lord Alcohol said solemnly. Lin Xian fell silent. He quickly turned around and chose to give up. His subconscious told him that there was an even better martial art waiting for him ahead. A moment later, another door of light appeared. Traces of fluctuations were emitted from within, shocking everyone. This aura made Lin Xian's heart tremble. Could it be an earth-tier martial art? Lin Xian was tempted. Buzz, buzz. The palm-sized key in his storage ring suddenly glowed, flickering indeterminately. Lin Xian was astonished as he took it out and placed it in his palm. The key was simple and unadorned, and its surface was very rough. If it was thrown on the ground, no one would notice it. However, Lin Xian was extremely excited. He had obtained this key together with the Buddha token. These doors are all illusory, so there is no need for keys. However, I have one in my hand, and something strange has happened. Could there be a door here that needs to be unlocked? Lin Xian wondered. That must be it. A smile appeared on his face as he gave up on the light door that was suspected to be an earth-rank martial art. I hope you can lead me to the real treasure. The stone key turned and pointed out a direction. Moreover, it was trembling incessantly. Lin Xian grasped the stone key firmly, and his body turned into a stream of light as he dashed out. Not long after, a stone door appeared in front of him. It was very simple and unadorned, and there was no light at all. This was a very ordinary door that could be seen everywhere in the outside world. But for it to appear here at this moment, it seemed a little strange. Lin Xian glanced around and found a hidden groove in the center of the stone door, shaped like a keyhole. It's really here. Since you found it, hurry up and open it, Lord Alcohol transmitted. Lin Xian held the key and slowly turned it, as though it was in the groove. Crack, crack. Two soft sounds were heard as the stone door slowly opened, revealing a hazy light screen. Stepping in, Lin Xian's body flashed and appeared in a strange space. In front of him was a huge green longsword that was as thick as a heavenly pillar. It was stabbed into the ground. A sharp killing intent came from it, and Lin Xian was shocked. He felt like he was a small boat that could be overturned by the waves at any time. The huge green longsword was engraved with complicated patterns. It was very simple and unadorned, as though it had experienced countless years. Lin Xian took 2 steps forward and immediately felt a strong vicissitude aura. He could vaguely hear the sound of thousands of soldiers and horses galloping. Earth-rank martial art. Lin Xian took a deep breath. This kind of aura could only be possessed by a legendary Earth-rank martial art. Lin Xian realized that this kind of aura could easily kill a harmonious spirit expert. As he walked forward, Lin Xian felt a huge pressure coming from all directions. The terrifying aura seemed to want to tear him apart. Try the Wind Emperor's sword, Lord Alcohol reminded. Lin Xian nodded and urged the Wind Emperor's sword to move forward slowly. Sure enough, the pressure lessened, and Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian came to the front of the green longsword and reached out to touch it gently. The moment he came into contact with the giant green sword, the entire space seemed to boil. In a daze, Lin Xian seemed to see the green, long sword slashing down from the sky. The sky was torn apart, and a terrifying black hole spread across the sky. The surrounding mountains and rivers were shattered, and the ground cracked. It was like the end of the world. Buzz! Lin Xian's body trembled as he retreated from the miraculous illusion. He felt a chill on his back and realized that he was drenched. So terrifying, so domineering. He took 2 steps back and slowly raised his head. On the sword hilt, there were 2 simple and unadorned words that carried a mysterious power. Gale. Lin Xian muttered. After saying that, he circled around the green longsword and realized that there were 2 ancient words behind it. Lightning pursuit. Gale lightning sword. Could this earth-rank martial art also contain the power of wind and lightning? Lin Xian was delighted as he stared at the green longsword. How do I get it? He frowned. This item was indeed powerful. Chapter 279. The air vibrated, and the ancient patterns on the huge green sword began to slowly disintegrate. Time passed slowly, and the huge green sword continued to change, finally forming a jade slip and a sword mark. Asterisk swoosh, asterisk, the green sword mark quickly entered Lin Xian's glabella and disappeared. Lin Xian's body trembled slightly, and a green light flashed in his eyes, quickly absorbing the information within. The exquisite moves and theories of the Gale lightning sword technique filled his mind. Fortunately, Lin Xian's soul force was strong enough to barely absorb the information. Otherwise, if it was someone else, they would have fainted from the information. Just like that, Lin Xian stood quietly, silently comprehending the mysteries within. The jade slip floated to his feet, emitting a faint light. In the outside world, the Lingwu mountain was shining brightly, and it was like a paradise on earth. Everyone waited patiently outside, especially the Black Wind sect, Mu Clan, Yuhua sect, and other sections. Time flew, and half a day had passed. Just when everyone was waiting impatiently, a bright light pillar shot out from one of the peaks of the Lingwu mountain. There, a figure rushed out quickly, and the qi on his body was even stronger. Ordinary half-step, harmonious spirit realm experts couldn't even raise their heads in front of him. It's senior brother Zhao Jie. The disciples of Yu Hua sect exclaimed, and their faces were filled with excitement. Asterisk, swoosh, asterisk, Zhao Jie's body flashed, and he quickly rushed over. Senior brother Zhao Jie, your qi has become stronger again. Senior brother, did you get an earth rank martial art? The disciples of Yu Hua sect kept asking questions, and the people around them also pricked up their ears curiously. Earth rank martial art was a legendary martial art. If Zhao Jie could get it, he would definitely lead Yu Hua sect to stand above all the other sects in the future. At that time, he might even have the chance to become a 4-star sect. However, Zhao Jie shook his head. I didn't get an earth rank martial art. Then what grade did you get? A high rank spirit martial art, and its power is equivalent to a peak rank spirit martial art, Zhao Jie slowly said. The martial arts in the Lingwu mountain were all left behind from ancient times, and their power was extremely great. It was far from what the current martial arts could compare to. Many people were disappointed. Although martial arts that were comparable to peak spirit level martial arts were precious, it wasn't as if they didn't exist. At least in 3-star sects, there were some peak spirit level martial arts. However, Zhao Jie was not too disappointed. Firstly, finding martial arts depended on luck. Secondly, he was quite satisfied with the martial arts he had obtained. Not long after Zhao Jie came out, another huge pillar of light appeared from the Lingwu mountain. Everyone held their breaths and looked over nervously. This pillar of light was even stronger than Zhao Jie's. It was like a huge sun shining in all directions. This kind of aura seemed to indicate the extraordinariness of the martial arts. A figure in a white robe came to the side of the Mu family disciple calmly. Senior brother Mu Chen. The Mu family disciples cheered excitedly. As if he knew what everyone wanted to ask, Mu Chen said indifferently, "Peak spirit rank martial art." The strength of a peak spirit ranked martial skill had already surpassed most of the peak martial skills in the real world. Only some of the peak sect's incomplete Earth ranked martial skills could compare to it. Congratulations, Brother Mu Chen. Many martial artists congratulated him, wanting to get closer to the Mu family. Mu Chen smiled faintly. When he saw that only Zhao Jie had come out, his expression changed slightly. There were actually 3 people who hadn't come out. This exceeded his expectations. One had to know that a peak spirit rank martial art was already the best martial art under Earth ranked martial arts, but there were still 3 people who hadn't come out. This made him slightly worried. Could an Earth ranked martial art really appear? Mu Chen's eyes flickered. On the side, the 5 brothers of the Sun family were also discussing in low voices, discussing the situation of Earth-ranked martial arts. Earth-ranked martial arts are too rare. It hasn't appeared even once in a few hundred years. Mu Chen shook his head and looked towards the Lingwu Mountain. Hung long. The Lingwu Mountain once again spewed out a resplendent pillar of light, and there was even a trace of multicolored light. The surrounding wind shook, as if blades and swords were slashing on the body, causing a burning pain. One had to know that this group of martial artists were all existences above the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. Perhaps only Ling Fengzi could make Cool Breeze become so lethal. As expected, when everyone opened their eyes again, they saw Ling Fengzi's figure. Everyone's eyes were burning, wondering what martial art he had obtained. Even Mu Chen and Zhao Jie looked over with a trace of seriousness in their eyes. Top tier of spirit tier, Ling Fengzi said coldly, obviously dissatisfied with this result. However, he also knew that the possibility of an Earth-ranked martial art appearing was very low. There are still 2 people who haven't come out. Do you think one of them obtained an Earth-ranked martial art? Why did I hear that the 2 came from the same family? Heavens, that's too terrifying. They haven't come out for such a long time. Maybe they really obtained a valuable treasure. Ling Fengzi snorted coldly. The length of time inside doesn't mean anything. If they don't choose, they will stay inside for a long time. Everyone was silent and didn't discuss loudly, but their eyes were fixed on the Lingwu Mountain. Although the 2 people inside weren't disciples of their sects or even martial artists from their region, it didn't stop everyone from looking forward to an Earth-ranked martial art. Time slowly flowed, and the Lingwu Mountain seemed to have fallen into a deep slumber, no longer emitting any movement. Only a hazy radiance flickered, reminding everyone that there were still people inside. F***CK. It's been a day. Why haven't they come out yet? Damn it, choosing a martial art is so troublesome. It can't be that they don't dare to choose, right? A group of people were impatient and couldn't help but start complaining. Of course, even though they were complaining, no one left. In fact, they were even more excited. Ling Fengzi looked glum. His eyes were filled with coldness. Mu Chen, who was in the distance, also looked unsightly. At that moment, the Lingwu Mountain started to emit a dazzling light again, as if it was a sleeping ferocious beast that had just woken up. A beam of light appeared, emitting a resplendent light. It was surrounded by a golden light which was extremely dazzling. What a terrifying scene. It's even more powerful than Ling Fengzi's. Could it really be an Earth-ranked martial art? Whispered the crowd. Ling Fengzi pulled a long face. He was fixedly staring at that silhouette. In the distance, Mu Chen was playing with a fan in his hand. No one knew what he was thinking. The light was shaking and the sky was illuminated by a red light. A sword was flying at high speed. Hua! Lin Feng landed on the ground with a confident smile on his face. The qi in his body was rolling like a river. Humph! Ling Fengzi groaned coldly. He took a step forwards, and a strong wind started to blow. It sounded like a million swords. Earth-ranked martial art? Asked Mu Qin, who wasn't in the distance. Of course, said Lin Feng, whose face was filled with arrogance. He didn't try to hide it. The crowd was boiling with excitement. Surprisingly, there really was an earth-ranked martial art. That was too shocking. Don't even think about fighting against me. You are not qualified. When Lin Feng finished talking, he looked glum. An extremely powerful sword energy emerged from his body, as if it could tear the earth apart. Chapter 280. That pressure was already very close to the harmonious spirit realm. Everyone was silent. Lin Feng was many times stronger than before. Almost no one was his opponent. Even Ling Fengzi and Mu Qin didn't move. However, they didn't intend to give up on the earth-rank martial art. Lin Feng looked around but didn't see Lin Xian. He couldn't help but be surprised. However, he didn't care. Now that he had an earth-rank martial art, he didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes. His ambition was huge. As long as he had time, he would definitely surpass the patriarch of the Lin clan. Just as Lin Feng was about to leave, the Lingwu mountain emitted a bright light again. A beam of light rushed out, and thousands of rays of light quickly rushed out. Everyone was stunned. Could it be another earth-rank martial art? However, as soon as the multicolored light appeared, it quickly dissipated. Even the pillar of light that reached the sky became illusory and quickly disappeared. What's going on? Everyone was stunned. They had never seen such a phenomenon before. This qi is too weak. It's not even as strong as Zhao Jie's. Could it be that he didn't even get a mid-spiritual rank martial art? Everyone guessed. Lin Feng looked at the figure floating in the air with disdain. He sensed that Lin Xian didn't change much, so he didn't pay attention to him. The others stared at Lin Xian curiously. Phew! Lin Xian landed on the ground. Feeling everyone's gaze, he touched his chin. Lin Gongzi, did you get an earth-rank martial art? Bai Ling asked from the crowd. Oh, did someone get an earth-rank martial art? Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Then, Bai Ling briefly explained the levels of the martial arts that the other four had obtained. When he heard that Lin Feng got an earth-rank martial art, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He looked at Lin Feng cautiously. No wonder Lin Feng was his enemy. He actually got an earth-rank martial art. Lin Feng's face was full of arrogance. He directly ignored Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. It seemed like Lin Feng had already lost his mind because of an earth-level skill. Even though Lin Feng had an earth-level skill, how could the skill he had obtained be weak? Thinking up to here, Lin Xian said indifferently, "What I obtained was not an earth-rank martial art. It's not an earth-rank martial art." Everyone was greatly disappointed. When they once again felt Lin Xian's aura, they discovered that he didn't seem to be lying. Lin Xian had indeed not obtained an earth-tier martial art, but an existence that surpassed earth-tier martial arts. It was a type of legacy martial art. According to Lord Alcohol, the might of the Gale lightning sword he had obtained surpassed ordinary low-grade earth-tier martial arts. Furthermore, it contained the experiences and insights of countless predecessors. It was far from something an earth-tier martial arts could compare to. In the distance, the light of Lingwu mountain disappeared as it fell into a deep sleep again. Everyone knew that this meant that this trip to the floating island was about to come to an end. In the past, these people would gradually leave Levitating Island after 3 to 5 days and return to the place where they first entered. 3 days passed quickly. Groups of warriors disappeared from the floating island. The warriors of the Mu family and the Black Wind sect left one after another. Buzz. Lin Feng's body glowed as he was supported by an inexplicable power. His body gradually disappeared. Rumble. Just as he was about to disappear, a huge force quickly appeared in midair, as if an earth-shattering hand was about to grab him. Boom. Another huge hand appeared, grabbing at Lin Feng. Not good. It's the old monsters of the Mu family and the Black Wind sect. Bai Ling exclaimed. It was no wonder. An Earth-tier martial art was too shocking. Even 3-star sects couldn't remain calm. Lin Xian's heart trembled. Since the old monsters had made a move, his situation was very dangerous. He looked up at the sky and saw Lin Feng's entire body wrapped in red light. Behind him, the shadow of a red maple tree swayed. He quickly rushed into the sky and disappeared. The two illusory hands quickly chased after him, and the sky returned to normal. Lin Gongzi, you have to be careful. Although Levitating Island is a world of its own, some old monsters can still affect it a little. After that, Bai Ling and the others also disappeared and left Levitating Island. Lin Xian frowned, his face gloomy. He had a very bad feeling, as if someone had locked onto his aura. Xiao, Xuanzi, I still have some power. I can send you out of Levitating Island, but it can only be used once, Lord Alcohol said slowly. Lin Xian nodded. He knew that this method was used to save his life and couldn't be used casually. Half a day later, his body began to glow. The mysterious power of Levitating Island supported him, trying to send him out of Levitating Island. At that moment, the sky seemed to be torn apart as a black crack appeared. A pale hand that was almost 1,000 meters long mercilessly grabbed at him. The mountains and rivers below were all shattered by this attack. Damn it! This isn't a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Lin Xian's expression turned ugly. This method had completely surpassed the harmonious spirit realm. It made him feel like he was facing heaven and earth. It should be a spirit transformation realm old monster. I'll take you away immediately, Lord Alcohol said in a deep voice. Once enveloped by this palm, it would be very difficult for Lord Alcohol to leave in his current state. Therefore, he had to leave before the palm landed. The huge palm almost annihilated the space. Just a trace of wind was enough to shatter the copper lightning runes on Lin Xian's body. Buzz. A black vortex quickly appeared on Lin Xian's body and kept spinning. Lin Xian's body became fainter and fainter until he finally disappeared. Boom, boom, boom. The moment he disappeared, the huge palm in the sky suddenly grabbed at him, causing the entire sky to become chaotic. In the outside world, a skinny old man suddenly opened his eyes. 2 beams of light shot out from his pupils. They were dozens of meters long and seemed to be able to pierce through the void. How is it, old ancestor? The middle-aged man beside him asked anxiously. Beside him stood Mu Chun and the other disciples. The skinny old man shook his head. Both of them had escaped. What? Many cultivators behind him exclaimed. How is this possible? How can 2 ants escape from your palm? These 2 are not simple. I'm afraid they have a secret treasure that can break through space. The Mu clan's old ancestor said in a deep voice. Although they escaped, they didn't go far. Furthermore, I left a mark on them. Mu Hua, Mu Xing, you 2 must capture these 2 brats. Yes, the 2 old men said in a deep voice. 2 figures quickly soared into the sky and flew into the distance. They were actually harmonious spirit experts, Earth-rank martial arts, secret treasure that can break through space. They all belong to my Mu clan. The Mu clan's old ancestor slowly closed his eyes. Tens of thousands of miles away from the Mu clan, a figure suddenly appeared in the void and quickly landed. This person was Lin Xian. His cape fluttered behind him as he glided like a bird and landed steadily on the ground. The moment he landed, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. Damn old man. How can he be so terrifying? Lin Xian was only touched by the wind from the palm, but he was almost turned into meat paste. Chapter 281. Lin Xian summoned the little white monkey to protect him. He then drank a cup of spirit wine and quickly circulated the longevity art. Fortunately, his body was strong and had been transformed by the profound ice chi and the great earth spirit liquid. He was much stronger than an ordinary half-step, harmonious spirit realm expert. Otherwise, the wind from the palm strike would have taken his life. After a long time, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. The little white monkey beside him was crying nonstop, its little claws pointing at the sky. "Someone is coming," Lord Alcohol said in a low voice. Obviously, the attack just now had put a heavy burden on him. Lin Xian stood up, grabbed the little white monkey, and quickly ran away. Behind him, a sharp sound broke through the air like an all-piercing through cloth. Whoosh! An old man stepped on the air. He clenched his fist, and the ground and trees below quickly flew up into the sky, as if they were being pulled by something. "There's a remnant aura. Seems like that kid just left," the old man muttered to himself. He took a step forward and quickly flew away. Not long after, he sensed Lin Xian's presence in front of him. Boom! His palms suddenly pressed down, and the surrounding spirit chi quickly gathered, forming a 100-meter-long giant palm of light that fell down. Suddenly, the trees below were broken, the mountain rocks were sent flying, and the ground was shattered, leaving a horrifying deep pit. A figure rushed out in a sorry state, as fast as lightning. This figure was Lin Xian. He was running quickly below, relying on his strong soul force to sense the danger ahead of time. That was how he managed to avoid the attack. What a terrifying attack. It's actually a harmonious spirit realm expert. Lin Xian's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. "Hee little kid, do you still want to run after offending the Mu clan?" An old voice echoed in the sky. "They really think highly of me. They actually sent a harmonious spirit realm expert." When a spirit sea realm expert faced a harmonious spirit realm expert, it was like an ant facing an elephant. There was no comparison. Unless there was a heaven-defying item like the profound ice chi that could trap a harmonious spirit realm expert, there was no other way. However, only half of Lin Xian's mysterious ice chi was left. It was too little to trap such an expert. "Kid, come back with me obediently. Perhaps you'll still have a chance to live," Mu Xing said coldly in the sky. Lin Xian naturally did not believe such nonsense. He had killed a disciple of the Mu clan, and there was no way they would let him go so easily. The only thing he could do now was to borrow the power of the black cloak. This black cloak was a half-spirit grade artifact. Currently, it had the effect of increasing the speed of the blood sacrifice. Perhaps he could use it to escape. Calm him down first. Lin Xian made up his mind and secretly activated his secret technique. However, on the surface, he put on a helpless expression. "Senior, I agree to go with you, but you have to guarantee my safety." When Mu Xing saw Lin Xian obediently surrender, he felt relieved. He had learned from the old ancestor that Lin Xian had a secret technique to escape through the void. He was worried that Lin Xian would somehow escape, but now it seemed that the secret technique was not so easy to use. Mu Xing slowly descended and stopped 10 meters away from the ground. He bent his fingers and was about to lift Lin Xian up. At this moment, Lin Xian on the ground suddenly moved. 40% of the dragon sword intent surged. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. The sword light was like a rainbow, extremely dazzling. "Humph! Stubborn! Mu Xing's face darkened. He waved his hand, and the surrounding spiritual energy vibrated violently, forming a thick light screen in front of him. Clang! The materialized sword Qi slashed on the light screen, causing the air to tremble. However, it did not cause any substantial damage. To me, you're just an ant. Do you really think an ant can hurt a giant dragon? Mu Xing's expression was cold. Since you dare to resist, I'll have to cut off your limbs first. Having said that, he stretched out 2 of his fingers and gently shook them. The spiritual energy in the heaven and earth surged and quickly formed a 100-meter-long sword Qi. It slashed towards Lin Xian. This was the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. Each of his moves could mobilize the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, making his attack extremely powerful. Lin Xian once again felt the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. At the same time, he was glad that he had the profound ice Qi when he faced the great elder of the Tsang family. Otherwise, he would have died many times over. Seeing that the 100-meter-long sword Qi was about to land on his head, Lin Xian gritted his teeth and shouted, "Blood sacrifice cloak!" The dark red lines on the black cloak glowed. Lin Xian felt that the blood in his body was quickly draining away, but the red light on the cloak was getting brighter and brighter. All of this happened in an instant. When the 100-meter-long sword Qi fell, Lin Xian's body turned into a blood-red light and quickly rushed away. Swoosh! An ear-piercing sound broke through the air. It was as if the air was being torn apart. This speed stunned Mu Xing, who was in the sky. He looked at the sound of Lin Xian running away. His mind was in a daze. This kid, how could he be so fast? Mu Xing's eyes were gloomy. This speed had already surpassed his own. It was one of the top existences in the harmonious spirit realm. That cloak is strange. Could it be a spirit-rank treasure? Only a spirit-rank treasure could allow a Sea of Souls realm expert to display the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. Thinking of this, Mu Xing smiled. If he could get a spirit-rank treasure, then his strength would increase greatly. A Sea of Souls realm expert must pay a high price to activate a spirit-rank treasure. As long as I slowly track you down, I can exhaust you to death. Mu Xing took out a disc and sensed Lin Xian's presence. A moment later, he sneered. Taking a step forward, Mu Xing rushed out like a meteor. 10,000 meters away, Lin Xian's figure appeared. His face was pale, and his footsteps were light. Using the blood sacrifice secret art had allowed him to escape danger, but he had also lost 1/5 of his blood essence. This was his life force. Losing so much at once was unbearable even for his strong body. Damned Mu clan. I'll remember this, Lin Xian said through gritted teeth as he downed a cup of spirit wine. Suddenly, he frowned and looked up at the sky. Behind him, the clouds were surging. A figure was quickly approaching. Damn it, how did he know? Lin Xian's face turned ugly. He had already changed his direction. Logically speaking, it shouldn't have been so easy to find him. I have a mark on my body. He remembered that the Mu clan's disciples could easily find him on Levitating Island. What is it? Is it a demonic beast pouch? Or something else? Lin Xian asked Lord Alcohol. It's a special mark. It should have been placed by that spirit transformation realm old monster. Lord Alcohol said in a deep voice, I can undo it, but it will take some time. I can hold on. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and said. He used the Dragon Rebel step and quickly ran into the distance. Although the Dragon Rebel step was fast, it was nothing compared to a harmonious spirit realm expert. It couldn't be helped. The difference in their cultivation was too great. It was like a child holding a sharp weapon might not be able to hurt an adult. I can only use the blood sacrifice again. Lin Xian didn't want to be caught. The cloak behind him glowed red again. Chapter 282. The red light was as dazzling as the blood sun. With a whoosh, Lin Xian disappeared again. In the sky, Mu Xing's face was cold. To him, a spiritual sea realm brat had escaped from his hands twice. This was something he couldn't tolerate. The surrounding spirit chi surged into his body, and Mu Xing sped up. Before long, Lin Xian was caught again. Looking at the old figure in the sky, Lin Xian's heart turned cold. Gritting his teeth, Lin Xian asked, "Lord Alcohol, are you still not done?" "I still need some time," Lord Alcohol said in a deep voice. "Okay." Lin Xian performed the blood sacrifice again and disappeared on the spot. When he reappeared 10,000 meters away, he felt dizzy. He had already lost half of his blood, and his body was extremely weak. He couldn't use blood sacrifice again. Lin Xian took out the white jade bottle and swallowed a drop of earth spirit liquid. As soon as the liquid entered his body, he activated the longevity art and quickly absorbed it. The blood that he had lost was quickly replenished. Sensing the changes in his body, Lin Xian finally heaved a sigh of relief. "Kid, your secret technique uses blood as a medium, right? I'm afraid you don't have much blood left." Mu Xing quickly caught up from behind, his terrifying voice spreading in all directions. "Don't worry about it. Even if I bleed dry, I won't let you succeed." Lin Xian sneered and flew out again. "You're courting death." Mu Xing was enraged. He decided to attack mercilessly. Boom. When he caught up to Lin Xian again, his huge palm grabbed at him. "Run, run." Mu Xing sneered. "I think your blood has already dried up." Whoosh. As if in response, Lin Xian used blood sacrifice. Mu Xing's face turned black. Lin Xian's actions were undoubtedly a slap to his face. "Kid, I'll grind your bones to dust." "Old bastard, I'll remember you." Lin Xian hated Mu Xing to the core. In order to escape, he had lost almost all of his blood. At this moment, the drop of earth essence liquid that he had swallowed had been completely consumed. This speed was too terrifying. One had to know that normally he would need 3 days to absorb it, but now the time had been shortened by a few hundred times. At this rate, he would be caught sooner or later. Thankfully, Lord Alcohol was about to remove the hidden mark on Lin Xian's body. This gave Lin Xian hope of escaping. As long as the mark was gone, he could use Bloodstain twice to escape. In the sky, the wood element seemed to have sensed that the mark on Lin Xian's body was rapidly weakening. This caused him to feel a deep sense of unease. If he let a Spirit Sea Realm martial artist escape from his hands, then he might as well kill himself by smashing his head against tofu. With a gloomy look in his eyes, Mu Xing let out a long howl and shot out like a cannonball. Just as he was about to catch up to Lin Xian, he suddenly discovered that the mark on Lin Xian's body had disappeared. Chapter 283. The huge palm of light gathered towards Lin Xian, causing the surrounding air to freeze. Lin Xian felt that his body was bound, unable to move at all. He roared towards the sky. The great dragon sword, intent, gushed out from his body, but he still couldn't resist it. Just as he was about to be caught, the surrounding air fluctuated violently like boiling water. A fiery red furnace appeared out of nowhere above Mu Xing's head and fell down with a loud bang. Mu Xing's expression changed, his body trembled, and his soul trembled from the bottom of his heart. This situation was similar to when he faced the old ancestor of his family, an expert from Dan King Valley. Mu Xing was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He used all his strength to dodge to the side. Boom! The huge furnace fell down, shaking the surroundings. Although Mu Xing managed to dodge the attack, the fluctuating airflow still hit his body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. "Don't you know the rules of Dan King Valleys?" A cold voice came from the void. Mu Xing suppressed the injuries in his body and quickly said, I am Mu Xing from Mu Clan. I am here to, I said, don't you know the rules of Dan King Valley? The voice carried a hint of anger. Pill King Valley forbids fighting. This humble one naturally knows, but we have yet to enter the Pill King Valley. Before Mu Xing could finish speaking, he discovered that the stone tablet with the Pill King Valley's insignia was beside him. Damn it, when did you come in? Mu Xing felt like dying. Senior, I will take this kid and leave now. Although Mu Xing was old, he was nodding his head like a little chick. Who allowed you to take him away? If you don't leave now, you won't be able to leave. The air vibrated violently, and the figure in the void seemed to be angry. Yes, 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 I will leave now. Mu Xing didn't have any temper. He turned into a ray of light and ran away. Lin Xian was stunned. A harmonious spirit expert actually left like a puppy. What kind of place was this Dan King Valley? Thank you for your help, Senior. This junior is very grateful. Lin Xian bowed towards the void and was about to leave. Who allowed you to leave? The voice snorted coldly. Lin Xian was stunned. He realized that he was happy too early. The air trembled as a figure appeared. The aura on his body was even more terrifying than that of the wood element. Lin Xian looked carefully and saw that this person's hair and eyebrows were all white, but the skin on his face was as tender as a baby's, as if it could be broken by the slightest breeze. He was sitting in a metal wheelchair with a blood-red parrot standing on his shoulder. Does Senior have any other instructions? Lin Xian asked carefully. The old man in front of him was too strange, so he had to be careful. According to the rules of Dan King's Valley, anyone who enters will become a servant of Dan King's Valley and will never be able to leave. A parrot stood on the old man's shoulder and said with a squawk, "What? Unable to leave this place forever?" Lin Xian was stunned. What kind of stupid rule is this? Once you enter Pill King Valley, your life and death will be under the control of Pill King Valley. The strange old man snorted coldly. No exceptions? Lin Xian asked. From spirit transformation experts to ants and insects, there are no exceptions. The strange old man said confidently. Lin Xian's small face fell. No wonder Mu Xing ran as fast as a rabbit. How could that person leave just now? Lin Xian was unconvinced. Are you afraid of the Mu family? Nonsense. What Mu family? I can destroy them in minutes. The strange old man flew into a rage. Little kid, look carefully. Lin Xian looked forward and saw that the boundary stone in front of him suddenly disappeared and reappeared 1 foot away from him. So it's a trick. Lin Xian suddenly realized, little kid, you can actually escape from a spirit, harmonious realm warrior. It seems like you are quite capable. The strange old man suddenly stared at Lin Xian. This cloak is a half-spirit artifact. No wonder you can escape. Little kid, you must have lost a lot of blood and qi. The strange old man saw through Lin Xian's situation with just a glance. Lin Xian's heart was beating wildly. This old man's eyes were so sharp. Senior, you flatter me. I was just lucky. Lin Xian laughed. Senior, can I really not leave? How about this? I will work here for free. For 3 months. After 3 months, you will let me leave. What do you think? What kind of place do you think this is? A restaurant? The strange old man rolled his eyes. Lin Xian's face turned bitter. He still had to go back to attend the family meeting in half a year. His eyes darted around as he looked around, trying to escape. The blood parrot flew up and circled above Lin Xian's head while shouting, "Don't run away! Don't run away!" The strange old man snorted. "Hurry up and get in, or I will cut off your legs, and you will never be able to walk again. Damn it, it's been 20 years and the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass still hasn't grown. I have to go back and fertilize it. Little kid, come with me." 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass? What a disgusting name. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. This old man keeps sitting in a chair. Is he crippled? At that moment, Lord Alcohol said, he is indeed crippled, but it wasn't congenital. It was caused by poison. Poison? Lin Xian was alarmed. Could it be that the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass can cure his poison? That's right. Do as I say, and you should be able to leave. A smile suffused the corners of Lin Xian's mouth. Since Lord Alcohol had spoken, he felt a lot more at ease. He followed behind the strange old man and suddenly asked, the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass is highly toxic. Senior, are you trying to fight poison with poison? Boom. The strange old man's wheelchair came to a sudden stop as a shocking spiritual energy fluctuation erupted from his body. The old man turned around as a terrifying beam shot out from his eyes. They were like two divine spears that wanted to pierce through Lin Xian. Speak, who sent you? Lin Xian felt like 100,000 mountains were pressing down on him as his bones were about to shatter. He didn't expect the strange old man's reaction to be so big. What do you mean by who sent you? Lin Xian roared. I don't even know where this place is. Seeing that Lin Xian didn't seem to be lying, the strange old man retracted his terrifying aura and said in a deep voice, you know about the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass? I've heard of it. It's one of the world's most unique poisons, ranked 9th among the top 10 poisonous grasses. So what if you know? Do you know how to cultivate it? The strange old man sighed. The 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass was very difficult to cultivate. It was said that it needed to be nourished with the venom of 1,000 poisonous insects 3 times a day until it grew leaves. Then, it needed to be nurtured with the demon crystal of a rank 7 poisonous insect. This process would last for decades, and a demon crystal could only last for half a year. A rank 7 poisonous insect was equivalent to a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Furthermore, poisonous insects were rare to begin with. Those that could cultivate the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass were even rarer. Of course, these things were told to him by Lord Alcohol. Lin Xian was just repeating them. Kid, it seems like you're quite knowledgeable. You can help me cultivate the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass. As long as you can cultivate it, I promise to let you out. Cultivating it will take at least 20 years, and that's the best plan. Lin Xian's face was bitter. If the poisonous insect's venom isn't enough, it won't be able to be cultivated even after 100 years. Chapter 284. Senior, I see that your legs are black with a tinge of purple. You must have been poisoned. I wonder if it's the 1,000-year-old poisonous wasp sting or the black flood dragon's poisonous heart. I once heard my master say that the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass can only restrain these 2 poisons. I wonder if that's your intention, Senior? You know the poison I've been poisoned with? The strange old man was agitated as his entire body trembled. The blood parrot circled above his head. Poisoned, poisoned. You actually know of these 2 poisons. It looks like your master isn't simple. The strange old man laughed bitterly. I've been cultivating the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass for 2 years, but I've never succeeded. Now, those poisonous worms are almost used up. I spent a lot to buy them. Lin Xian fell silent. From the looks of it, the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass was very difficult to cultivate. However, from Lord Alcohol's disdainful tone, it seemed like Lord Alcohol's identity was more terrifying than he had imagined. Speaking of which, the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass is very difficult to cultivate. However, to those who know the ropes, it's very simple, Lin Xian said with a smile. Simple? You say it's simple? The strange old man was so angry that his neck turned red. I've spent so much effort over the years to invite countless capable people, but none of them have been able to revive the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass. How dare you say it's simple? Suddenly, his expression changed as he asked with a trembling voice, "Could it be that your master knows how?" "Kid, can you invite your master here? I can pay any price." The strange old man seemed to have found a life-saving straw. "Sigh, I could have, but the rules of Elixir King Valley state that you can't leave for the rest of your life. How am I supposed to find him?" Lin Xian shrugged. "Don't, young friend. As long as you can invite your master here, no one will dare stop you. Is that all? Are there no benefits?" Lin Xian deliberately sighed. "Yes, of course. As long as you can cultivate the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass, you will be my benefactor. When the time comes, if the Mu family dares to bully you, I'll bring you to their doorstep." "Really?" Lin Xian was skeptical. This old man's change was too fast. Little did he know that the strange old man had been poisoned for hundreds of years. His legs were crippled, and he could only rely on a wheelchair. For this reason, he had put in so much effort, hoping that one day he would be able to stand up again. However, he had not succeeded in nearly 100 years. Now that Lin Xian had a glimmer of hope, how could he give up? "Brat, I hope what you said is true. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." The old man seemed to have thought of something. "I'm just a spiritual sea realm martial artist. What can I do in front of you?" Lin Xian laughed bitterly. "There's no time to lose. Let's go." The strange old man looked anxious. "Where are we going?" Lin Xian was stunned. "Go and find your master." The strange old man said grumpily, "You just said a lot. Don't tell me you've forgotten?" "No, how could I forget?" Lin Xian shook his head. "But my master is always traveling and has no fixed residence. The last time I saw him was 5 years ago. Where do you expect me to find him? Traveling?" The strange old man's face darkened as he stared at Lin Xian with an unfriendly expression. "You don't believe me? I wanted to help you detoxify your poison." Lin Xian sighed. "It's boring. I won't help you." "What? You can detoxify my poison?" The strange old man exclaimed again. "Little friend, don't be angry. I really don't believe you." "Is that so? Then why did you look at me like that?" Lin Xian pursed his lips. "My gaze was very friendly. You must have seen wrongly." The strange old man's eyes lit up. "Little friend Lin, come inside with me. Little blood, get someone to prepare the best spirit tea." The strange old man shouted. "Spirit tea! Spirit tea!" Blood Parrot shouted and flew away. Lin Xian chuckled inwardly. From the looks of it, the old man had stabilized himself. Thankfully, he had lured alcohol. Otherwise, he would have to retire here for the rest of his life. "Senior, how should I address you?" Lin Xian asked. "Just call me Earth Scarce," the strange old man said. "As long as you can detoxify the poison in my leg, you will be my great benefactor. From now on, your problems are my problems. Senior Earth Scarce, may I know what kind of poison you have been afflicted with?" Lin Xian asked. "1,000-year-old wasp stinger," Earth Scarce said in a deep voice. "And it's the poison of the Wasp King." Lin Xian pondered for a moment as he waited for Lord Alcohol's judgment. After a while, he slowly said, "1,000-year-old wasp stinger's poison is cold. The poison part is weak and powerless. Furthermore, it is accompanied by a piercing pain that penetrates deep into the soul. This pain occurs 3 times a day. Although it's not fatal, it's extremely torturous. It looks like the person who poisoned you is extremely vicious." "Yes, you're right." Earth Scarce was excited. What Lin Xian said was exactly the same as what he had experienced. Lin Xian smiled faintly and continued, "Although the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass can restrain this poison, its growth is too slow. Furthermore, fighting poison with poison will cause great damage to your legs. I just remembered that my master once told me about a method. I wonder if Senior is willing to give it a try. What method? Earth Scarce asked subconsciously. 100 Flowers Marrow Cleansing Powder. Lin Xian said slowly. You know this method? Earth Scarce's face trembled. This old man, who could send a harmonious spirit realm expert flying with a punch, was as excited as a child in front of Lin Xian. The 100 Flowers Marrow Cleansing Powder was indeed the best way to treat his leg injury. However, it was an ancient pill recipe that was extremely precious. He couldn't find it at all. Thus, he settled for the next best thing and used the 1,000 Spiders' 10,000 Poisons grass to fight poison with poison. Little friend Lin, this is an ancient pill recipe. Are you sure you have it? Lin Xian nodded. He took out a pen and paper from his storage ring and quickly wrote down the recipe. Then he passed it to Earth Scarce. Earth Scarce's hands trembled as he read the recipe. He was so excited that he almost jumped up. Little friend Lin, you're so generous. Aren't you afraid that I'll take it for myself? I believe you, Senior. Lin Xian smiled faintly. In fact, the recipe alone was not enough to concoct this pill. It also required a special technique, specific inscriptions, and other things. Lin Xian wasn't worried at all. Earth Scarce understood these things as well. However, when he saw Lin Xian toss an ancient pill recipe to him like a piece of paper, his heart was still beating wildly. Where did this kid come from? For a moment, he was even more afraid of Lin Xian's identity. A young man who could casually take out an ancient pill recipe must be from an extremely terrifying sect. Senior Earth Scarce, go and collect these materials first. I'll teach you the refining technique in 2 days, Lin Xian said. Also, give me a cultivation room. I want to go into seclusion for a while. No problem. I'll arrange for someone to do it right away. Earth Scarce hurriedly pushed his wheelchair and left. Soon, a servant invited Lin Xian into a first-class cultivation room. After closing the door, Lin Xian set up a defensive array formation. Then he sat down to meditate and adjust his breathing. In fact, he was seriously injured during this escape. Moreover, his qi and blood were in a deficit. It was very likely that his foundation was damaged. Fortunately, he had a miraculous item like the Earth Spirit Liquid, which prevented his foundation from being damaged. Now he needed to recuperate and restore his body to its peak. Chapter 285. Mu Clan, deep in the courtyard. When Mu Xing returned, he found that the atmosphere in the clan was not very good. Did the old ancestor already know in advance? Mu Xing had the urge to vomit blood when he thought about how he did not catch Lin Xian. You're back. Where is he? In the hall, the old ancestor asked in a deep voice. Reporting to the old ancestor. That kid ran to Pill King Valley, but we did not catch him. Mu Xing said carefully. Boom. A torrential aura exploded and hit him, sending him flying far away. Trash. A bunch of trash. The Mu clan is in your hands. How can I be at ease? The old ancestor said angrily. 2 Spirit Sea realm brats. You didn't catch a single one. Mu Xing was alarmed. It turned out that the kid with the Earth rank martial art also ran away. No wonder the old ancestor was so angry. The Earth rank martial art was related to the fate of the clan. If the old ancestor had the Earth rank martial art, his strength would be able to take another step forward. At that time, his hopes of breaking through to a higher realm would greatly increase. Old ancestor. That kid activated the Earth rank martial art, and he also has other secret treasures on him. I chased him for 3 days and 3 nights, but I still lost him, Mu Hua said in a low voice. In addition, the Black Wind sect people are also chasing after them. Old ancestor, It said that these two kids are from the same clan. As long as we find out their clan, we can snatch the Earth rank martial art back. Yes, the Earth rank martial art will definitely be ours. The situation is not good. That kid offended many people. All the disciples of Star Peak Pavilion were killed by him, and now they are looking for him everywhere. Old ancestor, we have to speed up, the old ancestor said in a deep voice. Mu Xing, you said that kid entered Pill King Valley? Yes, Mu Xing quickly said. Originally, that kid was fine, but he had a half-spirit artifact on him. He burned all the blood in his body to activate the half-spirit artifact, and that's how he escaped. Half-spirit artifact, everyone exclaimed. That's a good thing. Their Mu family only had one spirit-grade artifact, so one could imagine how precious a spirit-grade artifact was. Although a half-spirit artifact was not as good as a spirit artifact, it was much stronger than a mystic artifact. Is there any other news? Mu clan's ancestor asked. It's said that ever since the Jiang siblings came in contact with that brat, they disappeared. They didn't even appear when the Lingwu Mountain opened. Right now, the Jiang family is also sending people to search for them. His cultivation isn't high, but he's quite capable. The Mu clan's patriarch said in a deep voice. He actually caused several factions to fight over him. I'm afraid that the Jiang clan has heard the news and is also eyeing the Earth rank martial arts. I happen to have a type of poisonous bug that should be able to persuade D. Quebec. Let's not waste any more time. Let's act now. A few harmonious spirit realm warriors followed the old ancestor of the Mu family and soared into the sky. After they left, a few figures left quickly. They had hidden themselves so well that even the ancestor of the Mu clan was fooled. These people were the spies of the various sects, and they were quickly sending the news back. It wouldn't be long before the news of Lin Xian's presence in Pill King Valley spread to the other great sections. As long as they captured Lin Xian, they would be able to find the whereabouts of the Earth rank martial art. At the same time, two figures suddenly appeared below the floating island. They were the Jiang clan's brother and sister. Although we didn't enter the Lingwu Mountain this time, we still gained a lot. Let's hurry back to the clan. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly left with Jiang Ruyue. The Pill King Valley was filled with the sound of birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers. DK had already sent people to gather the ingredients for the white flower marrow cleansing powder. Of course, he bought it together with other recipes, so it didn't attract anyone's attention. Lin Xian was still in seclusion, so DK could only wait patiently. All of a sudden, the clouds in the sky rolled, as if there was a flood. An obscure soul ripple was transmitted, quickly searching the valley as if it was looking for something. Who dares to search the Pill King Valley? DK shouted coldly. His powerful soul force soared into the sky. Boom! Two invisible forces collided, shattering all the clouds in the sky. A violent storm appeared in the sky, sweeping in all directions. The other disciples in the Pill King Valley raised their heads in fear. It had been many years since anyone dared to behave atrociously in the Pill King Valley's territory. Now, someone dared to provoke them. Ha ha, DK, how have you been? The Mu clan appeared in the clouds. Behind him stood Mu Xing and the others. Mu clan. DK snorted coldly. When he saw Mu Xing, his eyes flashed with cold light. I let you go, and you dare to bring people back? Do you think the Pill King Valley is easy to bully? Mu Xing trembled, hiding behind the Mu clan's old ancestor. Not daring to make a sound. DK, you don't have to scare them. I'm here today to make a deal with you. A deal? What kind of deal? DK asked. I have a poisonous bug here. It's one of the 72 poisonous bugs. I'll use it to exchange for one of your people. DK's eyes flashed. The first thing he thought of was Lin Xian. It seemed that there was a deep grudge between the two. In the past, DK wouldn't have cared about this and directly made the exchange. But now he saw hope in Lin Xian, not to mention one poisonous bug. Even if there were 100 of them, he wouldn't trade. No. DK said coldly, Mu Clan, if there's nothing else, take your people and get lost. The Mu Clan's old ancestor's eyes narrowed. He couldn't figure out what went wrong. He knew that DK was cultivating the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass, so he confidently brought the poisonous bug here. But he didn't expect to be rejected before he even took out the poisonous bug. Does he know about the Earth-rank martial arts? The Mu Clan's old ancestor's face was gloomy. DK, are you crazy? Don't you want to cultivate the 1,000 spiders' 10,000 poisons grass? That kid is full of nonsense. Don't believe him. He killed my Mu Clan's disciple and stole my Mu Clan's treasure. I'm here to take him away today. Mu Clan's disciple, treasure. I'm not interested. DK snorted. Mu Qingfeng, take your people and get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. In a hall in Pilking Valley, Lin Xian looked at the sky with a solemn expression. I never expected the Mu Clan to rush over so quickly. Even their old ancestor has taken action. Lin Xian was puzzled. Could it be that my identity as a Mu Clan's disciple is special? Special my ass. Lord Alcohol said disdainfully. They definitely know about your relationship with Lin Feng and want to get information about your clan's whereabouts from you. At the end of the day, they are after the Earth-rank martial arts. Damn it, these guys still haven't given up. Lin Xian's expression was ugly. If these people were to reach Sword Pool Manor, it would probably be a disaster. Thankfully, we managed to stabilize DK 2 days ago. Otherwise, you would be in danger now, Lord Alcohol said slowly. I hope that old man can withstand the pressure. Lin Xian stroked his chin. If he can, I'll definitely help treat his leg. Chapter 286. After hearing DK's cold shout, the Mu Clan's patriarch felt terrible. He was the patriarch of a clan and a spirit transformation realm expert. He had never suffered such humiliation, even if the other party was at the same level as him. So, you're really not going to trade? No. DK was also quite angry. Lin Xian was his life-saving straw. Whether his legs could be cured depended on Lin Xian. Now, the Mu Clan's patriarch wanted to take away his life-saving hope before he could find the herbs. How could he not be anxious? I have to trade even if I don't want to. For the Earth-rank martial arts, the Mu Clan's patriarch decided to make a move. Mu Xing, Mu Hua, you two bring that brat here. How dare you? No one dares to behave atrociously in the Pilking Valley. DK was also anxious. Set up a defensive array. If they dare to barge in, kill them. Boom. After giving his orders, DK took his wheelchair into the air and charged at the Mu Clan's patriarch. The two of them faced each other, and their terrifying auras collided as if doomsday had arrived. Below, Mu Xing and Mu Hua were also blocked. The entire valley was suffused with a translucent light array, blocking the terrifying sword chi and palm shadows outside. Lin Xian looked at the saber light and sword shadows. His heart could not calm down. In the end, it was because he was not strong enough that they came to his house. He had to increase his strength. Otherwise, he would be assassinated by the Mu Clan before the family meeting. With a scream, Mu Xing fled into the sky. Mu Hua was also bleeding from the corner of her mouth. It seemed that the Pilking Valley's defensive array was not just for show. Seeing that he could not capture Lin Xian today, the Mu Clan's patriarch's face was gloomy. He and DK clashed, and the entire sky shook as if it was being torn apart. DK, today's matter will not end like this. One day, you will obediently hand him over. Let's go. The Mu clan's patriarch waved his sleeves and led everyone away. He had already decided to spread the news and let the giants gather in the Pill King Valley. Even if he could not get it, he could not let the Pill King Valley take advantage of him. This move could be said to be extremely insidious. Although the Pill King Valley was strong, but they couldn't withstand the joint attack of the Mu family, Black Wind sect, and other experts. DK returned to the valley with a gloomy expression and sent more people to protect Lin Xian. In the latter half of the night, another powerful spiritual energy fluctuation appeared in the sky, and the entire valley was in a state of panic. The old man DK rushed into the sky, and an intense battle broke out in the sky. Lin Xian sensed the crisis and did not want to stay here any longer. When dawn broke, the old man DK returned to the valley again. However, there were more wounds on his body. It seemed that the experts from last night were very difficult to deal with. Lin Xian found him and proposed to leave temporarily. Don't worry, little friend Lin. These old fellows can't hurt me. I can guarantee your safety. I'm afraid things are worse than we imagined. I'm afraid they'll join hands. Senior, since I can't find all the herbs in a short time, it's useless for me to stay here, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Senior, don't worry. I'll definitely be back in half a year. Half a year later, the family meeting should be over. Then Lin Xian would have nothing to worry about. All right, I believe in little friend Lin. DK pondered for a moment and nodded heavily. Thank you for your trust, Senior. Lin Xian was grateful. How about this? I'll help you nurture the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass so that you won't be too worried. You can nurture it. DK was excited. This was his last hope. Then Lin Xian took out a pen and paper and drew the required inscriptions. This was a set of formations, and it was extremely complicated. The inscriptions were like stars, dazzling everyone's eyes. With Lin Xian's current soul power, he could not set it up at all. He could only draw it on paper. He believed that DK would have a way to do it. DK's eyes lit up when he saw the complicated inscriptions. With his eyesight, he could naturally see that the inscriptions were extraordinary. For Lin Xian to give him something so precious, it meant that he trusted him a lot. Little friend Lin, you want to leave now? Yes, there's no time to lose. We have to catch them off guard. Lin Xian said in a low voice. My Valley of Pill Kings has a secret teleportation array. It's usually closed. Today, I'll open it for you. Then, he led Lin Xian into the depths of the valley. In the secret cave, there was a snow-white array platform. It was missing a piece. Without this piece, the arrays on both sides are blocked. This way, outsiders can't enter the Valley of Pill Kings through the arrays. DK explained. Then he took out a piece of white jade the size of a brick from his storage ring and placed it on the gap. After installing a spirit stone, the entire array platform glowed faintly. Little friend Lin, this is the map of the Tian Shan Kingdom. You'll know when you get out. Lin Xian took it and said solemnly, I'll be back in half a year to a year. During this time, it's best that you don't use the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass. Don't worry, I'll wait until little friend Lin returns. Rumble. Several terrifying auras suddenly came from the valley, pressing down on everyone's hearts like a huge mountain. DK's expression changed slightly. Leave quickly. I can handle it. Lin Xian nodded and didn't say another word. He jumped onto the array platform and disappeared with the white light. When he woke up again, he realized that he was in an underground dry well. With a flash, Lin Xian quickly left the place. He took out the map that DK had given him and realized that he was in the eastern part of the Tian Shan Kingdom, in the Hengduan mountain range. This map was very comprehensive. Lin Xian could find the existence of China, but compared to the Tian Shan kingdom, China appeared tiny. I should be able to reach China in half a year, Lin Xian estimated, and realized that he needed to travel nonstop. Don't you still have leg strengths? Lord Alcohol reminded him. Blue-eyed blue toad. Lin Xian suddenly recalled. He took out his storage bag and realized that the golden egg inside had turned into a tadpole. Lin Xian probed with his soul and realized that the tadpole was actively responding to him. If you're worried, you can make a contract with it, Lord Alcohol said. Lin Xian did as he was told and made a contract with the blue-eyed blue toad, becoming its master. He also wanted to make a contract with the snow-white monkey, but he was mercilessly despised by it. Following that, Lin Xian dripped 3 drops of earth spirit liquid on the tadpole, hoping that it would quickly grow into a frog so that he could take him on his journey. 7 days later, croaking sounds came from the demonic beast pouch. During this period, Lord Alcohol had also removed the last mark on the demonic beast pouch. It could be said that no one could find Lin Xian now. With a thought, Lin Xian released the blue-eyed blue toad. Croak, a 2-meter-tall frog jumped in front of him and kept rubbing against his chest. This frog was different from the blue-eyed blue toad he had seen before. Apart from the 3 golden lines on its back, its eyes were also golden. I'll call you Little Gold from now on, Lin Xian said with a smile. You also have an elder brother called Little White. With that said, he took out the white monkey. Wu-Ji, the snow-white monkey jumped onto Little Gold's body and danced happily. Let's go. Lin Xian sat cross-legged and patted Little Gold's head. Chapter 287. With Little Gold as his mount, Lin Xian could free up some time to cultivate. With only half a year left, he had to raise his strength to a new height. Lin Feng had an earth-rank martial art, so his strength would definitely increase. If he wanted to defeat Lin Feng, he could only work on the Gale Lightning Sword. However, the minimum requirement to use the Gale Lightning Sword was half-step Harmonious Spirit, so Lin Xian could only raise his cultivation level now. With a flip of his palm, Lin Xian took out a jade slip. This jade slip was obtained together with the Gale Lightning Sword. There were a few small words engraved on it. Wind Emperor's Gale King. There was also a spiritual chi sealed inside, which could help the user enter half-step Harmonious Spirit. Sure enough, it's related to Wind Emperor. Lin Xian's lips curled up as he started to absorb the spiritual chi inside. He was now at the 7th level of Spirit Sea Realm. If he wanted to enter half-step Harmonious Spirit, he would need 2 to 3 years. However, with this jade slip, he only needed 2 to 3 months to enter half-step Harmonious Spirit Realm. Just like this, Lin Xian started his boring cultivation. Other than absorbing the spiritual chi inside the jade slip, Lin Xian also took some time to study the Gale Lightning Sword. The inheritance he obtained contained the experience of the ancestors, which allowed him to quickly understand and comprehend it. There was also the mysterious sword box. Lin Xian would study it every few days. Of course, this process could not be carried out on Little Gold's back. He could only stop and look for a place where there was no one and lay down a formation. Lin Xian's strength was rapidly increasing, and his cultivation level had also reached the peak of the 7th level of Spirit Sea Realm. 20 days later, he arrived at the border of the Heavenly Mountain Country. The border of the Heavenly Mountain Country was very dangerous. It was surrounded by mountains and rivers. The terrain was dangerous, and there were many demonic beasts. Lin Xian checked the map and found that this place was also part of the Hengduan mountain range. There was a river called the Profound Yin River, which was specially marked as dangerous on the map. In the huge mountain range, one could hear the sound of the rushing river from afar. What followed was a cold yin qi, which could make one's soul shiver. The river was very wide, and it was impossible to fly across it. It was also very strange. Even harmonious spirit experts couldn't fly across it safely. Only some special boats could do so. These ships were divided into two types. The first type was the official ships, which were the ships supported by the royal family of the Tianshan country and the various major powers. These ships had their own special docks, and the people coming and going had to be checked. The other was smuggling, which was often used by people with shady backgrounds. Moreover, it was very expensive. Lin Xian chose a type of private ferry. There were several locations on the map in his hand where he could find such boats. In the dense forest, countless sounds of something breaking through the air suddenly rang out. The powerful spiritual energy fluctuations caused many monster beasts to crawl on the ground. The group of warriors moved quickly. The next person was an old man wearing a starry blue robe. He floated in the air. This time, we received news that the kid has entered the Hengduan mountain range. I think he's going to cross the river. This is our last chance. We must not fail. Yes, Elder Lu, several martial artists said respectfully. Deep in the mountain range, Lin Xian sat on Xiao Jin, holding a jade slip in his hand and absorbing the spiritual energy inside. Suddenly, Lord Alcohol transmitted, "Be careful, someone is chasing after us." Lin Xian's brows twitched, and he slowly opened his eyes. All the markings have been removed. How can they still chase after us? This is their territory after all. We might be discovered by someone on the way, Lord Alcohol said. There are harmonious spirit experts. We should hide first. They're really persistent. Lin Xian's expression was cold. Teach them a lesson. He landed on the ground and patted Xiao Jin. The latter leaped and flew dozens of meters before landing on the ground. After a few leaps, Xiao Jin disappeared with a snow-white monkey. As for Lin Xian, he hid nearby. Not long after he disappeared, several rays of light arrived one after another. The person in front was the old man in the starry blue robe. "Little bastard, you're pretty fast." Elder Lu was shocked by Lin Xian's speed. It was unheard of for a spirit sea realm expert to have such speed. His eyes flashed, and he frowned when he saw the huge footprints on the ground. "Be careful. There should be a demonic beast beside that brat." "Elder Lu, I heard that the brat fought with our Star Peak Pavilion because of a demonic beast egg." A martial artist quickly said, "These footprints do look like those of the blue-eyed blue toad." Elder Lu nodded slightly. "Follow me closely. I'm going to speed up." Boom. Elder Lu's body emitted a scorching light. He turned into a bolt of lightning and flew out, disappearing in an instant. The remaining 6 half-step harmonious spirit experts also started to move backwards. Lin Xian hid in a tree. His black cloak concealed his presence, so no one discovered his existence. At this moment, he was staring at the last martial artist like an experienced hunter staring at his prey. There was no trace of impatience. When the distance between them widened, Lin Xian suddenly attacked. This sword was silent, and there wasn't even a sword light. It was like the wind. Wind Emperor's sword puff. The last martial artist's arm flew up and blood spurted out. Everyone turned their heads and saw a black shadow flash by, disappearing in an instant. They chased after him, but couldn't find him. So fast. The martial artists of Star Peak Pavilion felt a chill in their hearts. "What happened? Did you see who injured you?" A square-faced man asked. The injured martial artist shook his head in pain. "Too fast, and his sword didn't move at all. There wasn't even any killing intent." "Who is it that dares to attack us? Don't tell me it's that Lin guy." The square-faced man's expression changed. "Damn it, it's actually a plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. I hope Elder Lu will come back soon. Form the formation. He's just a Sea of Soul Realm martial artist. He can't block our sword formation," the square-faced man said calmly. The 6 martial artists formed the 6-point sword formation and looked around vigilantly. However, there was no sign of anyone. It was as if Lin Xian had disappeared. "Don't panic. Wait for Elder Lu to come back," the square-faced man said in a deep voice. Elder Lu was chasing after Xiao Jin at full speed. After half an incense stick's time, he finally caught up with Xiao Jin. However, when he saw that there was only a frog and a monkey, he panicked. "Damn it, we've been tricked." Elder Lu's face turned black and his heart went crazy. However, he quickly calmed down. The 6 disciples he brought were all half-step, harmonious spirit realm martial artists. Moreover, they had all kinds of sword formations. Once they were used, even he wouldn't be able to break through in a short time. If Lin Xian dared to look for them, he would be courting death. "Why don't I capture these 2 demonic beasts first and make him lose the ability to move at high speed?" Elder Lu smiled cruelly. Without the demonic beasts, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to maintain his speed for a long time. Boom! A huge palm turned into a mountain and covered the front. At the same time, a starlight net enveloped Xiao Jin and the snow-white monkey. Wuji Gua Gua Xiao Jin jumped quickly, dodging the huge palm. The snow-white monkey held the cold star dagger and slashed at the void. Chapter 288. The dagger in the little monkey's hand was a top-grade profound rank artifact. It was extremely powerful. With the help of the little monkey, it easily cut through the net of light. However, Little Gold wasn't so lucky. It was just born and was still very young. It couldn't do anything against a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Soon, it was blocked. Wuji the little monkey jumped on its head and comforted it. "Run. Why don't you run?" Elder Lu walked over with a sinister smile. "I'll cut the 2 of you into pieces in front of that little bastard. Everything related to him will disappear." Elder Lu walked over step by step like a demon. The aura on his body made Little Gold tremble. On the other hand, the little monkey didn't feel any discomfort. It made a face at Elder Lu and even spat at him. "You're courting death." Elder Lu was furious. He reached out his hand to grab the little monkey. Swoosh! A white light flashed, and Elder Lu grabbed nothing but air. "Damn it! What kind of monkey is this? How can it be so fast?" The little monkey looked at him with disdain and did a unique action. Then, under Elder Lu's murderous gaze, the little monkey took out a demonic beast pouch. Not good. Elder Lu's heart skipped a beat. He quickly grabbed Little Gold. Swoosh! Little Gold turned into a ray of light and entered the demonic beast pouch. Wuji the little monkey laughed and disappeared in the air. Elder Lu was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. With his status, he was actually played by 2 demonic beasts. With a furious roar, the surrounding mountains and trees exploded and turned into powder. "Little bastard, I'll definitely kill you." The voice was like thunder, spreading far and wide. "Elder, save me." Suddenly, a miserable scream came from the forest. Elder Lu's expression changed again. The voice was clearly from his disciple. He couldn't care less anymore. He turned into lightning and rushed into the depths of the forest. 4 martial artists covered in blood rushed out. One of them was even missing an arm. When they saw Elder Lu, they were like children who had been bullied, wailing loudly. Elder Lu's face darkened. He asked coldly, "What happened?" "Lin Xian. It's that demon Lin Xian." "Little bastard Lin? Don't you have a formation? Why can't you capture him?" "That brat used poison. My 2 junior brothers were caught off guard and died from the poison. Martial uncle, you must avenge us." Elder Lu felt suffocated and dizzy. He said coldly, "Little B****, if I can't catch you, I swear I'm not human." With that, he sent out the sex signal to gather the people nearby. In the dark, Lin Xian quietly retreated. The reason why he was able to defeat 6 half-step harmonious spirit experts was because he used some of the poison that he obtained from the Dan King Valley. However, he still didn't have the power to fight against a harmonious spirit realm warrior unless he used the 1,000-year poisonous stinger. 3 days later, Lin Xian was surrounded again. Elder Lu and Elder Wang joined forces to capture Lin Xian. Boom! A huge palm of spiritual energy descended from the sky and slapped towards Lin Xian. The trees and rocks below were all shattered, and cracks appeared on the ground. Fortunately, Lin Xian had the black cloak, so his speed was greatly increased. Swoosh! He turned into a black light and dodged. A terrifying palm print appeared at the place where he was standing. As soon as he dodged the palm, a resplendent blade light whizzed towards him. The green blade light was several hundred meters long. With a single slash, a 1,000-meter-tall mountain was split in half. Lin Xian's small face was pale, and all the muscles in his body were tense. The slash almost brushed past his body. Even with the copper thunder mark and high profound rank armor, he was still injured. Little B asterisk starred. I'll send you to hell today. Tell me the whereabouts of the earth, rank martial art, or die. The 2 elders floated in the air like 2 mountains, exuding a terrifying aura. Lin Xian's sword intent surged and slashed apart the torrential pressure. Otherwise, this pressure alone could paralyze a spirit sea realm warrior. Damn it, there are 2 harmonious spirit realm warriors. Lin Xian felt bitter in his heart. If there was only one harmonious spirit realm warrior, he might be able to deal with him with the recent increase in his strength. However, there were 2 harmonious spirit realm warriors. He couldn't fight them at all. It was a problem whether he could escape or not. Old Wang, let's take him down together. We can't let him escape. Elder Lu's face was cold. Star fist, mountain-shattering palm. 2 terrifying attacks fell from the sky, and everything within 500 meters was affected. Feeling the threat of death, Lin Xian could only use the blood sacrifice cloak again. His body turned into a blood line, and Lin Xian disappeared from where he was standing. Chase. The 2 elders of the Star Peak Pavilion turned into rainbows and rushed towards the distance. They locked onto Lin Xian. Boom. Another punch was thrown out like a falling meteor. This punch was very vicious. It happened to be the moment when Lin Xian had just materialized and couldn't dodge it anymore. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and threw out a blue star stone. It kept enlarging in front of him. He got this stone from a disciple of the Star Peak Pavilion. It was a treasure of the Star Peak Pavilion. Crack! Crack! The star stone blocked the attack for a moment before exploding into countless pieces. This moment gave Lin Xian time. He used the Dragon Rebel steps and the black cloak to increase his speed to the extreme. However, Elder Lu's figure was flying towards him at high speed. It was another light palm. Lin Xian could only summon the broken armor he got from Meng Yan to block in front of him. Boom, boom. Spider web-like cracks appeared on the surface of the broken armor, and it turned into powder. Lin Xian suffered a violent impact, and his body quickly fell to the ground. Boom. A terrifying deep hole appeared on the ground. Lin Xian felt that all the bones in his body were broken. The power of a harmonious spirit expert was not to be underestimated. He couldn't resist it at the moment. You can still move. Elder Lu was shocked when he saw Lin Xian stand up shakily. Even a half-step harmonious spirit expert would be heavily injured and on the verge of death. But a martial artist at the 7th layer of the spiritual sea realm could still move. Not simple indeed, but you can't escape this time. Elder Lu walked over with a sinister smile. Whoosh! Above the white light, the snow-white monkey appeared and quickly left with Lin Xian. Trying to run? Elder Lu, and Elder Wang laughed loudly and quickly followed after him. In front of them, a terrifying river surged. It was shining with silver light and emitted a cold aura. That aura made Lin Xian's body tremble. Profound Yin River. Lin Xian's face turned bitter. Behind him, the two elders landed with a mocking expression in their eyes. Little bastard, why don't you run? Even the heavens won't help you. Let's see what you can do this time. Profound Yin River was a place that even a harmonious spirit expert wouldn't dare to take the risk. Lin Xian had nowhere to hide. Behind the two elders, the disciples of Star Peak Pavilion also arrived one after another. When they saw Lin Xian by the river, they laughed crazily. Little bastard, tell me the location of the Earth Rank Martial Arts, and you may live. Otherwise, I have 1,000 ways to torture you to death. Chapter 289. Are you old bastards blind? I have an Earth Rank martial art? Lin Xian roared. At the same time, he hated Lin Feng to the core. This guy really knew how to find trouble for him. You don't have the final say. We'll know once we use the soul-searching technique. Elder Lu grinned. Search your ass. Lin Xian didn't have any misgivings. I'll remember today's humiliation. In the future, I'll definitely go to the Star Peak Pavilion to get it back. Lin Xian's words shocked the surrounding cultivators. If this kind of genius grew up in the future, he would definitely be a huge hidden danger to the sect. You think you still have a future? Elder Lu's face was gloomy as he suddenly attacked. Boom. Lin Xian took a step back and fell into the chilly river. When I come out, it'll be the day you die. Lin Xian's voice echoed on the river as he jumped into the water with the snow-white monkey. Swish. Elder Lu grabbed empty air, and his face was extremely gloomy. There was actually someone who dared to jump into the profound Yin River. This was something he didn't expect. Boom, boom. He continuously waved his palms, and terrifying palm shadows smashed into the river, stirring up thousands of waves. Old Lu, don't be rash. This river is very strange. Elder Wang stopped him. That kid won't survive if he goes in. Sigh. What a pity about the whereabouts of the Earth Rank martial art. Good kid. He's actually unwilling to tell us the whereabouts of the Earth Rank martial art, even if he dies. Elder Lu felt uneasy. He had a bad feeling. I think this kid is very strange. He might not die. How about this? We'll guard the various crossings and send people to guard here. If there's no movement after a month, we'll retreat. Okay, let's do that. Elder Wang nodded. Obviously, he didn't give up on the Earth Rank martial art the moment Lin Xian fell into the river. He released Xiao Jin. The river water was as cold as ice, constantly eroding his body. The snow-white monkey entered the storage ring. Lin Xian used the copper thunder mark to resist the cold chi with all his strength. However, he felt more and more powerless. On one hand, he was injured. On the other hand, the river water was too strange. It made his spiritual energy become very slow, as if it was about to freeze. Lin Xian had only felt this phenomenon when he used the profound Bing Qi, but at that time, he only used a trace of it. But now, there were countless Yin cold water in all directions. Gulp Xiao Jin's body glowed with a faint, golden light. It wasn't affected much. It opened its mouth and spat out a bubble that wrapped around Lin Xian. Immediately, all of the cold water was blocked outside. Even without the corrosion of the cold water, Lin Xian still felt a deep sense of weariness. He forcefully swallowed a drop of earth spirit liquid and fainted. Quack, Quack Xiao Jin took Lin Xian and swam into the distance. When he woke up again, he found that he was still in the air. You're awake, Lord Alcohol said slowly. How long have I been asleep? Lin Xian sat up and found that his injuries had all healed. It's been 5 days. Xiao Jin, go and investigate the situation. Be careful not to expose yourself, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Guawuji, the snow-white monkey jumped out and quickly left with Xiao Jin. Not long after, the two of them returned. The snow-white monkey kept gesturing angrily. They actually didn't leave. How cautious! Lin Xian's face sank. You can cultivate at the bottom of the lake. If you can break through to half-step harmonious spirit, you will be able to use the Gale Lightning Sword art, Lord Alcohol said. That's the only way. Lin Xian took out a jade slip and began to absorb it crazily. At the same time, he split a portion of his attention to comprehend the Gale Lightning Sword art. Half a month passed quickly. Lin Xian had been cultivating in the bubble at the bottom of the lake. The aura on his body grew stronger and stronger, faintly emitting a frightening aura. The biggest difference between Harmonious Spirit Realm and Spirit Sea Realm was that Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivators could absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, increasing the power of their moves. Currently, the spiritual energy in his body was in a liquid state, so it was called the Spirit Sea. Only by turning the Spirit Sea into a chi vortex could he enter the Harmonious Spirit Realm, although the form was different. This step had stumped many cultivators. Without entering the Harmonious Spirit Realm, one would always be an ant at the bottom of the martial Tao. Only by entering the Harmonious Spirit Realm could one be considered to have truly stepped on the path of martial Tao. Half-step Harmonious Spirit Realm was to turn a portion of the spiritual energy in one's body into a gaseous state. Lin Xian was currently undergoing this process. After a long time, he opened his eyes. It was as if two sword beams had shot out, causing the surrounding river water to tremble. This is the half-step Harmonious Spirit Realm. It is indeed powerful. Lin Xian felt a certain connection with the surrounding spiritual energy and was overjoyed. When you completely turn your spiritual energy into a chi vortex, you will be able to enter the Harmonious Spirit Realm, Lord Alcohol slowly said. At that time, you will discover the true power of the art of longevity. The true power of the art of longevity. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. At the Spirit Sea Realm, the spiritual energy produced by the art of longevity was extremely dense, far surpassing those of the same realm. Right now, I can barely use the Gale Lightning Sword once, but I don't know how powerful it is. Lin Xian was eager to give it a try. However, he didn't let joy get to his head. If there was only one Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator outside, he could still give it a try, but if there were two, he could only run. Kid, although your current state is very strong, it is still not enough to defeat Lin Feng. Lin Xian was silent. Lord Alcohol was right. Lin Feng had already become a half-step Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator, and even had an Earth rank martial art. He was currently on par with Lin Feng, but he didn't have much of an advantage. Since you said so, you must have a way. Lin Xian asked back. There is a way, but it depends on whether you dare or not. Lord Alcohol smiled. If you do it well, killing the two Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivators outside is not impossible. Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. What is it? To be honest, he was really sullen this time. If there was a way to get rid of the two old bastards outside, he didn't mind taking the risk. Your Bronze Thunder Body is about to level up. You can try to break through to the Silver Thunder Body. Silver Thunder Body. Lin Xian's heart was burning. The Bronze Thunder Body allowed his physique to be comparable to a half-step Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator. The Silver Thunder Body was even more abnormal, allowing his physique to be comparable to a Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator. It's good, but I don't have a lightning source at the moment. Lin Xian was puzzled. When he cultivated the Bronze Thunder Body, he snatched the lightning source from a Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator and a 7th rank demonic beast. That was quite exciting. If you want a lightning source, it's very simple. Lord Alcohol said with a smile. There are many in the sky. The sky Lin Xian was stunned. Then his face turned ugly because of Lord Alcohol's words. There are a lot of clouds in this mountain range. As long as you set up a small formation, you will be able to attract heavenly lightning. At that time, you will be able to temper your body. Heavenly lightning. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. He realized that he had already jumped into the hole that Lord Alcohol had dug. Are you sure you are not joking? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Chapter 290. It's fine if you don't dare. After all, I'm not the one being bullied. I'm also not the one participating in the clan meeting. Lord Alcohol said indifferently. Lin Xian's expression kept changing. In the end, he gritted his teeth and said, "You're ruthless. I'll attract lightning." Inside the mysterious small sword, Lord Alcohol leaned against a huge tree and muttered, "Little guy, if you can't even withstand a lightning strike, I can't give you this sword." Lin Xian learned the lightning-attracting formation very quickly after Lord Alcohol imparted it to him. Under Xiao Jin's lead, Lin Xian swam toward the riverbank. He chose a relatively remote place to go ashore, avoiding the detection of the Star Peak Pavilion. As soon as he got ashore, Lin Xian's black cloak fluttered. He used the dragon counterstep and turned into a black light rushing into the distance. After entering the mountains, he found the tallest mountain and began to set up a lightning-attracting formation. Half a day later, Lin Xian left the mountain. Star Peak Pavilion, I'm coming. A cold smile appeared on his face as he quickly rushed into the forest. By the profound Yin River, a few martial artists from the Star Peak Pavilion were patrolling out of boredom. Elder Lu is really something. It's been more than half a month, and he still wants us to search. I guess there's no corpse left. That's right. Can he still survive after falling into the profound Yin River? A few people whispered in dissatisfaction. The profound Yin River was unusually cold. Even half-step, harmonious spirit experts like them couldn't withstand it. Let's go back, a martial artist said. Swoosh. At this moment, a sword light flashed behind him. The power of wind and lightning surged. The surrounding spiritual chi fluctuated, and a thick sword chi slashed down. Puff. A martial artist wasn't paying attention and was cut in half by the sword chi. Who is it? The remaining disciples were shocked. The person who will kill you. Lin Xian's body flashed as he mercilessly stabbed out with his sword. The sword light filled the sky like cold icicles. The surging sword intent was incomparably terrifying. It's Lin Xian. Quickly report to the elders. Someone shouted. They never dreamed that someone could come back alive from the profound Yin River. Puff, puff, puff. Several martial artists were sent flying. Their eyes were filled with fear. This attack power was too terrifying. They couldn't block it at all. How is this possible? He is the same as us, a half-step, harmonious spirit cultivator. Impossible. I don't believe it. However, no matter how they resisted, they were unable to block Lin Xian's sword chi. Puff. Another head flew up, and blood dyed the ground red. Run. The remaining three ran in three different directions at lightning speed. However, Lin Xian was even faster. His footsteps shook as he arrived behind one of them. He raised his autumn scar, sword up high. The sword light rippled, as if it was tearing apart the clouds. Chopping cloud, this sword had mobilized the surrounding spirit chi, making it even more powerful than before. The cultivator resisted with all his strength, putting up a solid defense. In front of him, a small shield with star patterns bloomed with light. However, none of this could stop the cloud, slashing sword chi. Everything was like cutting tofu, that martial artist. Along with the small shield in front of him was split into two halves. The other martial artist was cut in half by the snow-white monkey's tough spider silk. The last martial artist quickly fled. It wasn't that Lin Xian didn't have the ability to kill him, but he needed him to go back and report. The two elders that Lin Xian hated the most were the two elders, and they were the ones that he wanted to deal with. The last martial artist fled to the Star Peak Pavilion's stronghold with a terrified expression. He screamed crazily, "Guards, he's back!" "Who's back?" a disciple said impatiently. "Devil, devil." The disciple fell to the ground with blood all over his body. "What happened to you?" This movement attracted the attention of the others. Lin Xian is not dead. He's back for revenge." After saying that, the martial artist fainted. Boom, boom. Elder Lu and Elder Wang soared into the sky. Their terrifying chi covered the entire area. After a while, Elder Lu said excitedly, "Little bastard, you're still alive." Swoosh. Two rays of light flashed past. Elder Lu and Elder Wang disappeared. In the forest, Lin Xian felt two terrifying chi rushing towards him. He didn't hesitate and ran towards the highest peak. "You can't escape this time." A terrifying howl came from behind. The trees around him exploded. Star Fist. A fist that was almost 100 meters long formed in the sky. With a whistling sound, it smashed forward. If it was in the past, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to dodge it. But now that he had advanced to half-step harmonious spirit realm, his strength had increased by a lot. It was easy for him to dodge it. Lin Xian's black cloak fluttered. His speed increased once again. "Not good. This brat seems to have broken through." Elder Wang frowned. "He's just a half-step harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Do you think he can deal with us?" Elder Lu said with disdain. The two of them quickly chased after him. Elder Wang was doubtful again. "That brat seems to be luring us. Could it be an ambush?" Everything is futile in front of absolute strength. Elder Lu didn't care. He didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes at all. As long as Lin Xian didn't jump into the profound Yin River, he wouldn't have a trace of worry. The three of them arrived at the peak one after another. At this time, the clouds in the sky began to roll. Many dark clouds began to gather. It was normal for the weather to change in the forest. Elder Lu didn't care about it. The environment here is not bad. "Seems like you know how to choose a grave for yourself," Elder Lu sneered. "It's good that you like it, but this is not my grave. It's yours." Lin Xian revealed his neat teeth. "Brat, don't think that you're so great just because you're a half-step, harmonious spirit realm cultivator. In our eyes, you're nothing. Stop bragging." Lin Xian sneered. "You're already so old, but you're still a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. If I were you, I would have killed myself already. This young master is 17 years old this year. I'm already a half-step, harmonious spirit realm cultivator. May I ask what your cultivation level was when you were 17? Lin Xian said with disdain. "I think you're nothing. Little bastard, you're courting death." Elder Lu was so angry that his whole body trembled. "Old Lu, don't talk nonsense with him. Quickly take him down." Elder Wang glanced at the dark clouds in the sky. He was a little worried. "Don't worry, I'll torture him to death." Elder Lu walked over step by step. Lin Xian secretly observed the dark clouds in the sky. He originally wanted to think of a way to stall for time, but he didn't expect that the other party had no intention of making a move. This made him secretly happy. "Two old things, I'll kill you later." Elder Lu stretched out his palm. "There are too many geniuses in this world, but most of them died young. You're no exception. I'll let you know that before you grow up, you don't have the right to shout." Starfinger Elder Lu pointed his finger at Lin Xian's calf. A terrifying aura fluctuated like a ferocious beast. "I'll break your leg. Let's see if you can still run." Swoosh. Lin Xian's footsteps swayed. His body left an afterimage on the spot. Chi. A bottomless black hole appeared on the ground. The cut was even. The layer of soil that was hit by the sword had been forcefully dug out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Elder Lu quickly pointed his star finger. He was like a cat playing with a mouse. Seeing Lin Xian anxiously dodging, he looked up to the sky and laughed. Elder Wang, come and try. It's very fun. All right, it's been a long time since I tortured someone. Elder Wang laughed sinisterly. Wait until I catch him. I'll use my secret technique and make him beg on the ground like a dog. The two of them forced Lin Xian to the edge of the cliff with cold smiles on their faces. This time, you won't jump off the cliff, right? Ha ha! The two of them laughed crazily. Rumble! Dark clouds suddenly covered the sky. Silver lightning flashed in the clouds. Lin Xian's frightened expression disappeared. It was replaced by a cold smile. Very fun, right? I'll play with you until you're satisfied. Lightning strike. A cold voice spread in all directions. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.